Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by AndyMark. Are you competition ready? Go to andymark.com and keep your team inspired. And by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com. First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fun relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways. Good evening, and coming up on First Updates Now, big night tonight as we look back at the Houston Championship, look forward to the FRC Top 25 Countdown for Detroit, and also talk about another World Championship going on this weekend, Vex Worlds. We have some awesome fresh media straight in from Houston, awesome guests, and great discussions ahead. Reporting for First Updates Now, I'm Tyler Olds.
And I'm Mike Stark.
And I'm Christina Tia. Justin has the night off tonight, and our producer is world champion Nick Olson.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, baby. Congratulations, Nick. So we're going to introduce our guests in just a moment here. But before we do that, we want to talk about an awesome giveaway we have here today from Team 225 Techfire, who will be on the Carson division, looking for a really deep run, one of the top teams in the Carson division. So we have this awesome hat that we're going to show up on the screen here. Bam. Right there. Yeah. If you're in our Discord, we posted a nice picture of Libby with the hat, by the way, that she wore in her show. No, it actually, I know I sounded kind of a little sarcastic. It actually is a really nice picture. But so if you're interested in winning this hat, all you got to do for our giveaway, they'll be happening later on today, is we're going to have a keyword when prompted. Make sure you spam that keyword as many times as you want. You only get one entry, but that's the one time. We don't care if you spam. Don't forget, subscribers get 5 times luck on drawing, so you do have to either follow or subscribe to the channel. And if you decide you want to link your Twitch Prime account, or you don't mind giving us a few bucks, we in turn give you 5 times luck for winning. If you're watching on TBA Game Day, by the way, make sure that you just pop over to the First Updates Now channel during the giveaway. If you do want to subscribe or get bits or anything like that. And if you're not watching live, you can still support Fun either through a subscription, or we do have donation links below in the info. We need your help to continue making great content. So thank you to everybody who has stepped up to the plate to help make First Updates Now possible.
Absolutely. So we have an exciting guest with us tonight. But our first kind of disclaimer is First Updates Now is an independent organization, and it is not always about first. Just because that word is in our name does not mean that we do not also recognize that there are other awesome programs out there. So coming up this weekend, Vex will showcase their World Championship in Louisville. Before we bring in our guests, let's take a peek at of what the Vex Worlds event recap was from 2017 to kind of set the scene.
What I see here at the Vex Robotics World Championship is just excitement and energy. These kids are just having fun. And that's the whole thing about Vex Robotics. They're having fun, and they don't even realize how much they're learning.
Yeah, all the way back in 2008, what we learned actually mentoring kids was what really got us passionate about doing all this. And we saw such a huge change in the kids' lives and what they did that we wanted to figure out how to take this to all the high schools in the country.
And that's what was important to us, is to reach every kid. It's just grown crazy. I mean, we're super excited, and sky's the limit right now. Sky's the limit.
The reason we created it is because we wanted to channel students' passion about competition and their love of robotics to really get them interested in science and technology.
And what's so cool about this being a truly global event is we have kids working from kids on the other side of the globe, and there's no communication gap because they're all speaking the same language of robots and STEM.
This is our first Vex Worlds. We've never been here before, and the scale of this whole competition has been inspiring. I grew up getting involved in robotics, struggling to find enough people to build a team, and I show up here, there's 1,400 teams, and these are just the best of the best.
And I'm absolutely blown away with the amount of energy and really just the enthusiasm. I work in the Signal Corps, which is the IT arm of the Army, where the robots actually go and deploy. What they do, this is more than just a passion. It's something that can translate into a viable career.
Knowing the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math is a sure way to solve the world's problems that we will face in the coming years and decades.
Yes, we have a huge skills shortage in the world, and organisations and programs like Vex Robotics, they are what's going to help us overcome that, because they're making STEM cool.
What kids don't know about robotics is that it's really approachable, it's hands-on. Second of all, there's a programming aspect that a lot of people don't know about. We're seeing this really new interest in coding. Understanding what's happening behind the screen is really critical.
I can tell the kids that are coming out of here are kids that I can hire at Google. They know how to work in a team. They know how to program. And they also know how to deal with failures, more importantly.
We rely on innovative thinkers. They're able to take problems that have not been solved before from scratch and come up with those complex solutions.
We have students that are going into mechanical engineering, software engineering, and they're really looking at those STEM careers beyond high school. Our competition teams are also extracurricular, so they stay after school several days a week, several hours at a time.
Technically, robotics is every Thursday lunch, but we're there every day. Once you get started and once you're passionate about it, you can't stop thinking about it.
It has been a lot of work to get to this point. We worked day and night and barely finished in time for this competition. I thought it was an amazing experience.
When they announced the Mentor of the Year award, the rest of the teams came out of the stands and they just ran up there and they flocked and they gave him big hugs. And at that moment, you could see what an impact he was having on their lives. I gotta say, it actually gave me goosebumps on my arms.
We have to learn how to work together and encourage each other no matter where you come from, who you are, what your name is, or the color of your skin. I'm not saying there's not going to be challenges, because there is. But if you're willing to do it, you can always learn.
About 40 years ago, when I started thinking about this stuff, I had no way to imagine that I would show up in a place where there's tens of thousands of people, and it looks as though we may, in fact, be about to change culture.
All right, that was an awesome video. I'm always blown away by all the Vex media. So let's bring on our guest for this evening. He is the CEO of Robotics Education and Competition Foundation, or RECF, and also a mentor on both 3310 Blackhawk Robotics and 148 The Rower Anglers. Please welcome to the show, Dan Mantz.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate being on here.
Dan, it's so great to have you, man. Thank you. I know this is probably an unbelievably crazy time for you this week, so we appreciate you spending some time with us and missing some axe throwing with some of your coworkers there. So so you've been involved in IFI and FIRST for a long time now, and recently you became the CEO of the RECF. So can you kind of take us through this journey, which then will lead up to this VEX championship?
Yeah, it's an interesting journey, I think, anyway. So I'm from the East Coast, but I moved to Michigan to go to Kettering University. And while I lived there, I worked at Fanuc Robotics, and that's how I got to know Paul Copioli. But Paul actually introduced my family to FIRST. So my son and my middle daughter were actually in FLL and enjoyed it very much. And then my son was on Team Rush, Team 27, for 4 years. Meanwhile, Paul had moved down to Texas, and he and I had done a lot of things together at Fanuc. And a few years later, there was an opening at Rack Solutions. Paul suggested I interview it. I got the job, and sure enough, I'm working with Paul Copioli again. So when we moved down to Texas, 2 of my kids had already graduated from high school, but I had a daughter in high school and a daughter in intermediate school. And one of the things they remembered from being in Clarkston is the good community that Team 27, Team Rush had. So. My one daughter joined the Blackhawk Robotics, and my other daughter joined a VEX program, a VEX team. And so they had really good experiences. And then when my daughter graduated from middle school and went up to the high school, she decided she was also going to join the Blackhawk Robotics. And about that time, Paul and I said, you know what, we're going to become mentors too. So I've been involved with FIRST for a good 12, 14 years now, mostly as a parent, as a mentor the last 5 years. And meanwhile, my career at Rack Solutions, everything was going well, and I was mentoring teams. So ironically, I took the chairman's teams from 148 and 3310. I took them to Washington, D.C. to go to the NAC. And my son was actually on Team 27 when that was started. So he had gone there the first 2 years, and I thought it'd be a neat experience for my kids. So I took 148, 3310, and we ran into 2468 there. So there was 3 Texas teams. So afterwards, we realized that probably NAC wasn't going to help us a lot in Texas. So under the leadership of 2468, we actually started SACOT, so the STEM Advocacy Conference of Texas. So here I am, I'm just minding my own business, and we go to the first SACOT conference in November of 2015, and a lot of people say, hey, you work for IFI, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, man, you know, IFI VEX has got a great program, but it should be doing better. So I take the feedback and I go back to Paul and I say, hey, we got some people think we have a great program, but we can even do better. So all of a sudden I go back to another SACOT conference in February of 2016. And same thing, it's like, hey, VEX is great, it's growing in Texas, but you can even do better. So I went back to Paul, I said, Paul, you can even do better. And Paul looks at me, he's like, you know, we got a board opening. He's like, you should join our board. So I joined the board of the REC Foundation in February of 2016. I actually came to VEX Worlds last year as a board member, started digging around, and I came to Paul and the rest of the board with a whole bunch of ideas that I thought we could do to improve the organization. And Paul and Tony Norman and the rest of the board says, you know what? You should actually become the CEO of the REC Foundation. So that's exactly what happened. I was actually named CEO in June of last year. So I've actually been on the job less than 10 months. And it's all because actually I was at NAC that led to SACOT, and I was actually complaining about the VEX programs to Paul. So he kind of put me in my place.
At least you stepped up though, right? I mean, if you're going to complain, at least step up and see it through. So
it's it's a fantastic organization. You know, people don't realize it, but we're actually the largest robotics education organization out there. We're actually bigger than FIRST. You know, domestically, we have close to 20,000 teams domestically this year. Wow. And we have 300,000 students in our, you know, after school programs, our robotics programs, but we reach 1 million students overall. So besides our robotics programs that most people, we also have in-school curriculum. So we reach even more students using VEX products in school curriculum. So this year we actually had 1,500 tournaments in the U.S. And as you guys that are familiar with VEX know, we don't do it by our organization running it. We actually rely on volunteers and event partners to run our tournaments. So 1,500 tournaments is a pretty big deal.
So two things I want to ask you, and somebody asked in chat, are Dean and Woody still involved with VEX since the split? I mean, and one thing I'll just say is Woody was at VEX Worlds last year, right? So, I mean, definitely, I mean, Woody's around.
Yeah, so, you know, it was actually the REC Foundation with VEX that started the STEM Hall of Fame. And I'll be honest with you, I think it was like 7 or 8 years ago. I don't know for sure. And every year we honor mentors of the year, volunteers of the year, you know, very similar awards to FIRST. But we also have what we call a STEM hero. And we've had astronauts, some great people. And last year we had the privilege, and I can truly say a privilege, to induct Woody into the STEM Hall of Fame. So he came to our World Championship last year. He was graceful as like he always is. He talked to all the students. He spent a lot of time with the VEX staff and the REC staff. So what a lot of people may not realize is that VEX and the REC Foundation are just full of people that used to work for FIRST or were FIRST mentors. And so for Woody to come to our event, hang out at our championship event, talk to the students, talk to us, was truly an amazing experience for all of us.
That's pretty amazing. So Dan, just like FIRST, VEX runs 2 separate championships, but I believe that VEX Worlds has a superior method of recognizing all programs by providing them their own unique spotlight. I don't think enough people know about the VEX Worlds format. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what led to that decision when you decided to go to 2 World Championship competitions? And also, could you go into like how many teams will be in attendance for this year's VEX Worlds that's going on? Is it this week in Louisville?
Yes, we actually start on Thursday. So wow. That's actually an excellent question. So most people are familiar with our VRC competition, and that's geared for middle schools and high schools. And affectionately, I call that the metal bots, right? Those are the robots that are made from metal. But 5 years ago, we launched VEX IQ, which is geared for elementary schools as well as middle schools. There's an overlap in our programs. And every year, VEX IQ is growing bigger. And like FIRST, our championship included both on the same window, right? So, but as the program grew, we realized that we wanted to feature VEX IQ more. So we looked at having them in, you know, different weekends, different locations, and really the best solution was to have the events back to back. So actually, technically, it's still considered one event. For example, we'll be applying again for the Guinness Book of World Records as the largest robot competition, which awesome. We received. You know, we received that 3 years ago. when we had 1,100 teams at our competition. This year we'll have over 1,600. But back to your question, we found it's really important for our audience to think that they have their own unique experience. So when you're there Thursday through Saturday, our arena will be in the VEX Red, the VRC Red. It'll be geared towards those high school and middle school teams. And then on Saturday, after the championship is over for VRC, we have crews working out throughout the night, and they'll change all the banners and the carpet and everything. They'll change it from the VRC Red to the VEX IQ Blue. So when the students, our elementary and middle school students that are in IQ walk in, they think they're getting their own event. When the events were the same, let's be honest, it skewed more to VRC. So now these kids walk in, the parents walk in, the coaches walk in, and they say they're having their own event. It's very special for them. Now, I was a little bit harder on my staff, absolutely, because instead of, going out Saturday night, it's over. You go out Saturday night knowing that you have to come in Sunday morning and start registration. So it extends our stay by an additional 3 days. But I think the user experience of these kids having their own special, unique event really works well for us. So, and I think the community would tell you that they really like the direction that we've gone in.
Dan, when you and I talked a little bit at Houston at First Championships, and I couldn't believe when you told me that like literally everything gets swapped out. Like I was literally just blown away by that thought, because that's something that as somebody, I just would never think about something like that. So I think that's a really cool aspect that you that you guys at VEX have brought and RECF have brought to the championship.
Yeah, I like to think our organizations, and it's both the REC Foundation and VEX Robotics, I really like to think, because we come from the robotics world, I mean, most of us have experience as a student or a mentor, that we're really looking at the user experience. That's the term that I use, but we're really looking out for the students and coaches and making sure that they have a great time. That's our focus. So if you go to our sponsor booth, it's a worn out suite. It's not very fancy, because we're taking our money that we invest in our event, we're putting it back into the students. That's our focus for our event.
It's very cool. Yeah, it's kind of cool to really think about that. And that's awesome that you're making it unique for each program. It's kind of, like these sports stadiums, right? That like share hockey and basketball. And, especially now in playoff time, some teams are, they're literally switching back and forth every night and making it unique for each fan base. That's really cool. So something interesting that I didn't really know before the show started is that you guys made some interesting changes to the VEX Worlds format, specifically with the alliances. So could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so this was generated a little bit of controversy in the community. If you're familiar with the VEX forums, I think Paul and myself and the game design committee took a little bit of heat. But there's a couple things that we wanted to do. We wanted, to get more teams to being able to play an elimination. So our divisions are around 100 teams, 8 alliances of 3 teams, so 24 teams played. The other thing is, to be honest with you guys, there was some teams, very small percentage out there, that when they knew they weren't going to rank high, they may snowball it a little bit. They may not play as well as they could, and then they would hope to be picked up by the a top alliance as the second pick. So what we did, when I say we, the REC Foundation and VEX Robotics, but really driven by the game design committee, is we announced for this year's VEX Robotics World Championship, we're going to 2 team alliances. So you have your top seed will have the first pick all the way through the 16th seed. Now, why did we go from 8 to 16? Well, we wanted more teams to be able to play in eliminations to have that exciting thrill. So we went from 8 alliances to 16. So now we have a total of 32 teams playing. Well, what happens when you have 32 teams when you schedule all your time for 24? You don't have enough time. So one of the things we had to do and make a hard decision is for our eliminations, we're going best of 1 versus best of 3. And that was the most controversial part. Yeah, so the community truly understood why we went to 2 team alliances, and I would say 98% favorable. Everybody likes the fact that more teams are playing in eliminations. The one that was a little bit harder for the community to stomach was the best of 1. So,
and that's for the entire elimination tournament, including finals?
So all through our division, it's best of 1. Once we get to our finals, we have a round robin. We did it first, right? We have a great round robin tournament. And then the 2 top teams from our round robin will play a best of 3.
So even the round robin. So wait. So the round robin previously, like for VRC, it was 5 divisions, correct? Is that seem the same?
Yeah, the number of divisions in VRC is the same. We did add 2 more divisions in IQ this year.
Okay, so for the VRC, that's going to be best of 1 even for the round robin finals?
Well, the round robin is round robin, so each team plays.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Well, I wasn't sure if all of a sudden like it went to like a single elimination or something, but
nope. So it'll still be
that wouldn't make sense with 5 anyway.
Yeah, it'll still be a true round robin, and then the top 2 teams from the round robin will play a best of 3. So why did we do that one? Well, we feel that the scouting and within the division, you've already seen the teams and played with teams. So, at that point, even though at elimination, you should be familiar with the tendencies. But clearly, when you're after the round robin, you've only seen the other divisions one time. So their, strategy and how you may change strategy merits a best of 3 in that position.
So Dan, before we let you go, one thing I do want to say, a big thank you, by the way, SM Team 25 for your 500 bits. Thank you for that donation. But before we let you go, I would be totally remiss, and I think the rest of us would be, if we didn't ask you about the Houston World Championship that you read. I kind of alluded to it a little bit ago. First off, congratulations to you on 140 as a mentor there. 3310 had a great run as well too. I watched the finals for those division finals. Those were a hell of a set of great matches. Anything that you want to talk about for the Houston first Robotics World Championship at all?
Yeah. So first of all, I've been on this job for 10 months now. So going into championship, I saw it with a totally different perspective, and that's the perspective of planning and all the things that could go wrong that you have to plan for. So, I've been going to championships. I was in Atlanta. I was in St. Louis all those years. This is my first time in Houston. So that's one thing that I appreciate is I'm not there as the person nitpicking some of the decisions, because I know how you have to compromise different, decisions to give the overall best experience for the students. So that's the one thing I want to congratulate is the students had a great time there. The students on 3310, while we were disappointed with what happened in the Newton finals, the students overall still had a great time. 148 clearly won the world championship. They had a great experience. So at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. It's not about us as people that can be cynical. It's about the students and that they're having a great experience. One thing I'm very proud of is my daughter's a senior this year, right? She's been on Blackhawk Robotics for 4 years now. And she's that kid that's going out and meeting kids from other teams. And then they go gather in the park together and they go play cards together. And that doesn't matter if you're in Houston in a fabulous stadium or St. Louis. It's meeting the kids from different countries. It's meeting students from different states and having that great bonding experience. So in that area, first champs Houston was a home run. I mean, the kids had a great time and they got what they need to. And that's growing the horizons and getting new experiences.
Awesome. That's like the best thing that you could hear out of anybody that's, the CEO of a robotics program. So
right.
Thank you. I know, it's like music to my ears as a mentor and somebody that, is attending events. So that's awesome. So thanks again for coming on, Dan, and taking the time to let us know more about the awesome World Championship going on at Vex Worlds this week. Good luck the rest of this week. Have a blast. I hope you get some axe throwing in, even though you get night.
Yep. So again, we do live stream our World Championship just like First does. So if you go to Vex Robotics site or if you go to the REC Foundation sites, you can find live streaming. And we have a lot of interesting guests coming up. And like I said, we'll be coming out of this year's Vex Worlds again as the world's largest robotics competition. So something we're very, very proud of.
Very cool, Dan. Thank you so much again for coming on. It was great to have you. So going forward, we're going to be bringing on a new host who is the brainchild or the brain behind the new FTC live show, who will have their own championship recap next week on Wednesday. But before we do, let's take a look at behind the bumper segment from the Houston Championship with 3310 Blackhawk Robotics.
We're in the pit team number 3310, Blackhawk Robotics. These guys are having a killer time here at championships, absolutely knocking out of the park. So we're here with Samuel, Madison, and Ben. We're going to talk a little bit more about their robot and their performance here at the Houston Championship. So Samuel, I want to start with you guys. You are currently the #1 seed in your division. Things are looking great so far. Talk to me a little bit about championships here. What's been kind of the strategy and the progress as you've gone through the championship so far?
Yeah, so we had a bit of a slow start. We had a couple hard matches yesterday. We missed some climbs, lost the match, but we kind of regrouped. We had overnight, got ready. We've got 4 ranking points in all of our matches today. Haven't missed a climb. It's been really nice. We went 9-1, and we're sitting in first going into tomorrow.
So I really want to show off a couple parts of this robot because you guys have a killer bot this year so far. So let's start off with these awesome forks that you guys have here, Madison. So we'll get a good shot of that. And then if Sam, if I can have you hold those, and Madison, if you don't mind talking a little bit about these, this is really cool because you guys have been having a lot of success in getting 4 RPs in these matches.
Yeah, so we started off at our Arkansas regional with a big ramp, and that wasn't really working for us, and we saw a bunch of people had this fork strategy, so we decided to mill these out of aluminum, 1 sheet of aluminum for each of these forks. They're really light, and they've been working really well for us each time. We've got a very consistent climb with these things.
And Ben, let's talk a little bit more about in regards to your elevator on your robot, because it is slick. I mean, the speed that you guys have, and more importantly, the accuracy that you get out of it is really what takes matches for you as well. So tell me a little bit more about the elevator on your robot.
Yeah, so this is a 3-stage elevator, so it's got a 3-stage, it's continuous belt driven, so we have belt on each side. And the reason why it's so wide is so we can fit a cube in between it. So our Auton, we never have to turn around. We can always fit cubes right through the middle. And we can go top and bottom in 2 seconds. And we also use the elevator climb. We got a 3 mini sim ball shifter on there. And at the end of the match, we shift to low gear, which allows us to have enough power to lift ourselves and another robot. It's made all out of 2x1 versus tubing with some bearings.
So guys, we can't wait to see how you perform. Obviously, you can't wait either. It's good luck to you the rest of the competition season. We have a lot more media like that coming on. Myself and Lino and Anna from First Updates Now. We did about like 12 interviews, guys. We already posted a couple of them on our YouTube page, and many more to come from the Houston Championship today and tomorrow. So make sure you check those out. Plus, we got another one a little bit later on, too. But with that said, we do have Nathan Satterfield on, who is the host of FTC Live, which is a new show that's piloting over the next couple episodes on First Updates Now. So you can check out that next Wednesday, May 2nd. So if you want to learn more about FTC or you have any interest in it, you can watch that show. So Nathan, welcome to the show, man. Are you there, Nathan?
Yep. Hey, can you guys hear me?
We can. Yep. Welcome to the show, man. So so you're going to run us through a little bit on the Houston FTC and then talk about Detroit FTC coming up in a little bit.
Yep, that's what I'm going to be doing. All right, good evening, guys. I'm Nathan Satterfield, and I'm here reporting for FTC Live. So the Houston Championship was quite spectacular. As an FTC team member, I would love to say congratulations to 254 and the whole Winning Alliance. It's quite spectacular that 254 had a 53-0 season. That's incredible. On the FTC side, our Cheesy Poops of FTC, 724 Redneck Robotics won yet another championship. There is no resource to track FTC stats right now, but from what I know, Redneck Robotics has won the FTC championship 3 times in the last 4 years.
Wow.
Congrats to the other members of the Winning Alliance, 7750 M&Ms and 12611 Technova. A huge congratulations to the Inspire Award winner, 7477 Super 7 from Oviedo, Florida.
So,
I was also
Nathan, what is the Inspire Award, by the way?
Yep, sorry, that's a great question. So the Inspire Award is the FTC equivalent of the Chairman's Award. So it's the top award at the tournament for teams that excel in all categories of FTC. Yep. So one of the things I was very impressed with the play at the Houston Championship, but I will say one thing: I was underwhelmed with the finals matches. For those that were watching Houston FTC, we saw a very competitive play, but we did not see either alliance max out the game at 628 points. At the North and East Super Regionals, we saw one, if not both alliances hitting the soft cap in every match, but this did not happen at the Houston Championship. There's a lot of reasons why it didn't happen. One of the notable reasons is that Redneck Robotics is notorious for playing defense. So I'm guessing their defense caused the other teams to kind of fluster and not be able to hit that soft cap. I am guessing that we'll see many soft caps happen in playoffs and finals at the Detroit Championship, as there's a lot of strong Cypher and Relic teams on the Detroit side. So as Tyler mentioned right at the beginning of the show, FTC Live will be doing a full-fledged recap of the Houston and Detroit FTC World Championships here on Fun at 7:30 Central Time on Wednesday, May 2nd. So make sure you tune in to hear all about FTC. All right, so let's get into our FTC Top 10 for the Detroit Championship. We had just about 40 responses in our Top 10 forum. Not a whole lot, but people only had 5 hours to fill out the forum. I'll get better at this and the whole show gig soon. Nick, can we throw up our top 10? Perfect. So coming in at the 10 spot, we actually have a tie. One of our number 10 teams is 10-37 US Robotics from Cleveland, Ohio. US Robotics was one of the Innovate Award nominees at the North Super Regional. One of the biggest things that makes their robot unique is that they have a parking brake of sorts that they can easily get up and onto the balancing zone at the end of the game. The second team at the top 10 spot is 10091 Nyan Not Your Average Nerd Robotics from Mundelein, Illinois. They have an awesome robot which works quite well. And if I remember correctly, they were the winning alliance at the Illinois State Championship. They were also the Control Award winner at the North Super Regional. Their multi-glyph autonomous is also quite nice and works well, which makes the difference in the playoff matches, as multi-glyphs autos allow teams to exceed the soft cap of 628 points. The ninth ranked team is 9794 Wizards.exe from Rockville, Maryland. Wizards won the Inspire Award at the East Super Regional, got nominated for Think and Control at ESR, and they were also the winning alliance at ESR. There's no question why Wizards are up on this list, as they are a great team all around. The eighth ranked team is 10030 Seven Sigma from Cincinnati, Ohio. They were the Control Award winner and the second place Inspire winner at ESR. Similar to Nyan, it is not a surprise to see autonomous heavy robots in this list, as auto is key in this game, similar to Power Up, at securing the early lead and leading to faster cycle times and those bonus points if both alliances hit the soft cap. So the seventh ranked team is 7182, the Mechanical Paradox Cubed from Catonsville, Maryland. They were the third place Design Award winner and were on the finalist alliance in the Hopper division at the East Super Regional. The sixth ranked team is the North Super Regional Design Award winner, 7261 Omega Robotics from Sioux City, Iowa. The fifth ranked team is 9971 Land Bros from Vincenttown, New Jersey. Land Bros was the finalist alliance captain at the East Super Regional. This team is quite interesting, as there is only one Land Bro, as we call him, Jack, on the team. They have quite a fast robot and can cipher in under a minute, have a consistent 4-glyph auto, and have quite a smooth relic arm. Coming in the fourth place is 8644, the Brainstormers from Lexington, Massachusetts. They were the Design Award winner and the Control and Innovate Award nominees, and they were also on the winning alliance at the East Super Regional. I personally expect the Brainstormers to be high up in the rankings and have quite a successful Worlds run. So if we can get this picture up, our third place team on the list is 8680 Kraken Pinion from Mequon, Wisconsin. Did I say that correct? I don't know.
Yeah, you said it right, man.
All right. Their Mechanum or Mechanum drive, I never know which one it is.
Mechanum is what that is, though.
Okay. Is very smooth and works to their advantage in helping them quickly fill the crypto box. So as you can see right here, this is their robot. They have quite a beautiful design, quite a compact design. What is interesting, unlike some of the other teams up on this top 10 list, is they use a lot of kit parts. They don't have as many custom components in their robot as many teams do. As you can see, there's a lot of Tetrix there. There's a lot of, it looks like Rev slides for their relic arm, but they're a great team overall. So our second ranked team, if we can get this picture up, or I'll just keep talking, is 8393, the Giant Disenphalic Brainstem Robotics team. Sorry, Parv, if you're watching, I still can't pronounce your name. Brainstem is quite a nice robot. They have an all-black robot, and they can cipher quite fast with their efficient pass-through design. They also have a very quick and sturdy relic arm, which allows them to do 2 relics very often in matches. It's okay if we didn't get the Brainstem picture up, but if we can go to the video, that'd be awesome. So our number 1 ranked team is pretty obvious to everyone going to the Detroit Championship FTC-wise. That team is 11-11-5 Gluten-Free from Hollis, New Hampshire. They have an amazing robot. I'll just throw it and say that. They have an amazing 4-glyph autonomous. They can also do 6 glyphs, but they have an issue with penalties if the other scored glyphs didn't go all the way into the crypto box. They have ciphered, I think they did it once, maybe twice, at the East Super Regional in under 30 seconds after they have done a 4 or 6 glyph autonomous. They also have the possibility, I think they have the possibility to win the whole tournament if paired with another good robot in the finals. So before I close out, were there any questions from the chat? I don't have it up, so.
No, that's the only thing to explain is that where a lot of people are not familiar with the FTC game, Nathan. So something like a glyph, those are the main cubes that you see in the middle of the field, the main pick and places that people are trying to do. So if you're not familiar with the FTC game, just go watch the animation. It's actually really well done this year.
Yeah.
And you can check that out. So Nathan, definitely appreciate you coming on. Anything you want to wrap up before we get into the Detroit Championship?
No, I'll just say that there's a lot of great competition at the Detroit Championship. And just a reminder, we are recapping the Detroit Championship and the Houston Championship next week, Wednesday, May 2. So make sure to tune in to hear all about the great championships.
Nathan, this was great, man. I caught your show a couple weeks ago, and I'm just excited about the future for this. And it was really great having you on, and we look forward to your show coming up.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Good luck, guys.
Thank you, man. So with that being said, we're going to take a look at another Behind the Bumpers, this time courtesy of Team 4613, the Barker Redbacks.
We're here at Houston Champs at the Galileo Division with Team 4613, the Barker Redbacks. We have Matthew, Tom, Rohan, and Fergus, who are going to talk a little bit about the robot. You've been through 2 regionals this year. What can you tell us about the experience in those regionals?
Yeah, so we went to 2 regionals this year, both of the Australian regionals, and we had a great time. At the first regional, we made into the playoffs and we were able to come first. We seeded 4th and were picked by Raid Zero, a Taiwanese team. We had a great time during the qualifications. We spent a lot of time, we focused on getting the ranking points, using our autonomous to get the autonomous ranking point with the cube and the switch. And then in the playoffs, had a great time with working with Raid Zero, an elevator bot, to coordinate to get as many points as possible.
All right, so about autonomous, could you please specify what kind of autonomous were your robots doing? Like, what was the main objective on auto, or was it situational depending on the match?
Yeah, so it's heavily dependent on the match. For us, we have a lot of autonomous modes, and I guess the one we're most happy with was the 4 cube and the switch, which we managed to get in the practice match yesterday. We're very happy with that. The 4 in the switch means that they really have to work hard to be able to get our switch back, and we can focus on their switch or the scale. We also have a 3 scale on the right and a 2 scale on the left. So we're really flexible, and that's one of our main traits that we think makes us different. Yeah.
We're here finally at the big event. So what are you expecting? What are your strategies for looking for that Einstein field?
So yeah, we're looking at climbing with different teams. So using our climber effectively to get the 4th ranking point, which could effectively help us to seed higher and therefore get onto one of the higher alliances and therefore help get to Einstein easier. Yeah.
Is there any mechanisms you would like to share us about climbing, maybe how it works as the shooter?
Hey, again, this year, one of the most unique parts of our robot, I think, is the fact that we decided to do a shooter and like the compact and like speed of our robot. This year we got the shooter as a pneumatic piston, which like shown by like the large tanks we have on the robot. So we have a launcher that gets up to the scale when it's in either position. And then this year we also have, due to like the compactness of the robot, we've got a really interesting climber. If you just come around here and see, it's got a one pneumatic pop out that launches the whole mechanism up, and then it's a telescope out to climb with a winch.
Thank you so much, and best of luck on the Galileo Division.
So that's going to lead us into the Houston Championship now, and I want to talk a bit about my experience there, and then we'll kind of get into a little bit of recap. We're not going to do a full in-depth one, guys. We're between 2 championships right now. I like to be realistic. Hopefully you guys watched it, but we'll talk about some of the divisions as we get in the playoffs in a little bit. With this, to Mike or Christine, if you guys want to jump in from anything you might have saw from home, watching on TBA or anything like that, feel free to do so. But I'll jump in. I definitely want to ask our producer, Nick, to jump in a little bit later, as he is on a now world champion team for this year. So let's start off with, by the way, the convention center. This was my first time in Houston. I wasn't there last year. So as somebody who's been going to championships since 2001, that was closer to what it used to be, kind of like what GRB was, the convention center. But I've gotten pretty used to the football stadium feel at a championship, right? So you think about that, since 2003, we've been in a football stadium for championships. But I will say, though, if we're going to go back to Vex Worlds here, by the way, that my experience, I think, kind of made it, going to Vex Worlds the last 2 years has made it so much better because now I understand the convention center format. But I want to tell you a little about kind of my experience there. For those who are in the pits, I actually loved it. It was crowded, but you know what? It felt busy, and that was kind of fun to be able to have that tight-knit feeling. And to have the teams kind of broken up a little bit was kind of nice, because then you didn't have, if you would have looked like 148 and 254 probably would have had pits next to each other, if I remember correctly. And think about how crazy that would have been. But, man, trying to find a team in the pits sucked. And I mentioned it yesterday, but a big props to Eugene and TBA for actually putting pit numbers next to teams so we can just look it up that way. Because trying to find a team just in the rows was just awful. It was so bad the first day, trying to get used to it. So I hope that gets better, and I hope they figure out a way to kind of make it random but still cluster it as well too. So GRB though, overall, the convention center was nice. I miss the football stadium, but I totally get it. Einstein, Rod Robinson, and GRB I thought were fantastic. The only nitpick about that is that you couldn't see both fields unless you were kind of right in the middle. And then if you're right in the middle, you didn't have the best viewpoint anyways. It was kind of like watching it from St. Louis. But the issue is that you were so close, which was great most of the time, that you couldn't get a full view of the entire thing. So quals and division elims for a spectator was amazing. To be able to be that close to watch your team compete and not feel really far off. For somebody walking on the field as well too, you could hear the crowd nice and loud, which you couldn't always do at championships, and that was a really cool thing. So there were some awesome matches, strategies, upsets. It was really cool to see new areas start to rise in the playoffs, such as Mexico starting to get some teams in. Israel did an amazing job. A couple teams on Einstein, including a world champion, and the PNW. Holy crap. I wouldn't say came out of nowhere, but man, were they dominant this year. To see Alliance captains and teams getting into Einstein was awesome. So what I want to do is take a few thoughts through each one of the divisions and my experience as I was on the floor. I watched. I literally just went back and forth between divisions as matches went through. So I watched a ton of the matches as I kind of walked through. But I'm going to take them in alphabetical order here. Carver, let's start out with them. Guys, I don't know if you watched 2910 Jack in the Bot, but wow, this is my new favorite team this year. I think how phenomenal their drive system is and how well they score. I think they're just a slight tick off of elite, but man, are they there. And I was so impressed by a team who has never had a blue banner before. Think about that. They were Einstein finalists as a dominant robot in their alliance and never had a blue banner in their life. Oh. Insane. So good things are ahead for them. And a good thing for their alliance captain. 4911 was declined by both 1690 and 16. And it turned out that 2910 being their third pick was the ticket to get them on the Einstein. So I thought that was a humbling experience maybe for some. But really cool to see. 1690, by the way, sitting second. People thought I was crazy when I said they were a lock for the division. Yeah, they got knocked out in semifinals, but they seeded really well. And they did really well. They got knocked out against 49-44 and two Hall of Fame teams who were actually, they're supposed to be going to Detroit, but because they're Hall of Fame, they got a choice to go to different ones. That was really cool and it looked really good as well.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
So before we wrap up Carver, so my dad still mentors Team 175, and it was pretty cool to see, 175 and Miss Daisy pair up, being kind of outsiders that were supposed to be in Detroit and that, haven't had the massive success on the field in the last few years that they may have had, way back in the day during their glory years. So it was pretty cool to see them kind of, serve some upsets. And I will say 4911 is an incredible, well-rounded team from PNW. They're one of the founding members of the Compass Alliance, and just reading through some of the outreach programs they do on top of building a really solid robot that took them to Einstein it's pretty amazing. So, I mean, like you said, I was shocked to see so many PNW teams really showcase and do so well. So I think they really put their, names out there this year.
Yeah, it was really cool. All right, let's move on to Galileo, guys. Galileo. So Galileo, horrible luck for the number one seed, 1986, with 846 joining them. literally both robots at some point either weren't functioning or something broke. It just did not work out very well. So get this, though, in Galileo, number 1, 2, and 3 alliances knocked out in the quarters. Like, absolutely crazy for that. And number 4 alliance with Shockwave and Miskar took it all. Microcam went out.
Yeah,
so I want to talk about a team that really popped out to me, Miskar. This team here, absolutely dominant performance. Really love seeing them play on the field. It's funny because the robot's not the most aesthetically pleasing robot at all, but it performs really well and really consistent too. I have to admit, I was surprised to see Shockwave 4188 do as well as they did based on their PNW performances, but they really stepped it up. And there's another PNW team in Einstein in the Alliance captain spot with the number 4 seed. So really cool to see. Any thoughts on Galileo?
I got none.
All right. Next one. I'm just going to keep moving on, guys. So next one in Hopper. So, yeah, it's not a whole lot of doubt, I don't think, especially on Saturday, that 254 and 148. They go in the morning. They're sitting next to each other in the stands. Probably a good indicator that they're going to be together as well. I actually think the big surprise of the division was 399 Eagle Robotics. I saw them in Las Vegas, and a good team, but I would not expected them to seed second coming in ahead of time. But they did go down to the quarters with 973. So that's a world champion gone in the quarters. I really like the number 3 alliance, by the way. 3399 Bumblebee, always a team, not just from Israel, but a team in general that has performed well over the years. And I think the star, actually, of Hopper that got really undershadowed is 1706 Ratchet Rockers. This team has been doing really well the last 2 seasons. And really stepped it up to make it into the finals. 254 and 148 still took the matches pretty handily, but they gave them, more than I thought they would originally. And 1706, I think, has a lot coming up for them into the future. So I definitely want to bring Nick on, maybe bring him on after we go through, since they won the championship. But Mike or Christina, any thoughts about the Hopper division?
Get to the hopper. That was my favorite part watching the webcast. It was Mason just saying that over and over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Something you didn't quite get if you were actually there. So
yeah, no kidding. Or we're watching the wrong First Inspires channel. All right. Newton. Newton was one of the most exciting and surprising division finals I've ever seen. So I was a little surprised to see 3310 pick 118, and not because of the robot, but because of the rankings. 1678 was ranked second, but the 3rd seed, you had 3853, who in my opinion, I think might have ended up scorching at least the 3 and or at least what would have become the 3 and the 4 seeds, and maybe up to 6. Which would have prevented 118 and 1619 from pairing up. So that was an interesting decision there. I mean, 118 is a phenomenal. It's nothing against a robot by any means, but looking at the results, I was a little surprised to not see a 3310 and 1678 matchup just because of that. Maybe they knew something I didn't. And nonetheless, it led to an amazing finals going on. I expected a great fight between the number 1 and number 2 alliance. So you had number 1, 3310 and 118, number 2 alliance, 1678 and 1619. I did not think 2 was going to take that in 2 matches. On paper, I would have guessed 3 matches with the number 1 seed taking it. So I was a little surprised by that, but surprised in a good way too. I mean, we have friends on all 4 of those teams, so it's one of those things where no matter what, it's kind of interesting to see that as well. So with that said, congrats though, 1619 for their first Einstein appearance. 1678, 6 Einstein appearances in a row. Insane. Holy crap! Right? I mean, I don't know what you guys think, but like obviously we'll get into 254 and their power that they have, but 1678, man, 6 Einstein appearances in a row. Like, I mean, that's beyond insane to really think about.
Mm-hmm.
Ridiculous.
and just looking at chat, I do see Brandon Diaz says we had Autos Cornea on the team. Once again, I'm not disparaging 118 by any means. I'm curious about the alliance selection because on paper, looking at it, I would have picked 1678 just to hopefully think they would have scorched. I know somebody said they talked them out of scorching, but You can talk to team all they want until they make those picks. It's really irrelevant, in my opinion, for that as well. All right, next one. We're going to move on to Roebling. Actually, probably the most predictable division. 0 upsets during the entire elimination to bracket. So, like the actual seeds that move forward, no upsets there. Only 1 set of matches pushed to 3 in quarterfinal 2. Honestly, next to 21-22 Team Taters, who I know is in a different division, but 34-76 Code Orange might be the team who is least known for their Einstein performance at championships. This team has won the division 4 times in the past 6 years. I would never have guessed that had I not known Pauline, that they have won 4 times in the last 6 years, because they're just so undershadowed by some of the other teams in California. Even though they haven't won a Blue Banner since 2016, and they had a little bit down here last year, but 4 Einstein appearances, winning their division in 6 years is amazing. 13-23 Madtown, another robot that I think is many know about in California, but I don't know if they're very well known outside. So it kind of interesting in that aspect as well to see 2 really good robots pair up. I thought that was really cool. Finals was pretty close, and finals won against the 179 Alliance. But Code Orange and Madtown with the rest of their alliance look great. Madtown, by the way, 2 regional wins this year, and they've been division finalists the last 3 years prior. Division finalists 3 years prior, and they finally get that division win. So very well earned by Madtown Robotics, looking amazing. Any thoughts on Roebling?
Nope.
I was just like mesmerized watching 13-23 just swerve around the field. Like their driver is so good at just like instantaneously reacting and, heading to a different place to pick up a different cube. And that was really cool to watch. And I was really happy to see them, finally make it through. RC is pretty awesome. So
I love you just like end the sentence RC. Just think that. All right, let's wrap up with Turing here, by the way, for the division. So Turing to me looked to be the most interesting alliance selection ever, as the number 1 seed was poised to scorch Earth here with nearly the entire top 8. I had some talk to some of the alliance teams and had some kind of insider info that apparently all the teams are going to decline that I talked to. I think I talked to 6 out of 8 that they were going to decline the number 1 seed. And somebody talked them out of it for what and this part I don't have as much information on, but apparently they talked them out of it. I was expecting number 1 seed to pick up Mean Machine 2471, but I was expecting a scorched Earth and then have them pick up Mean Machine, who was outside the top 8, which would have been, in my opinion, the right strategy to go with, because 2471 was looking really good with a 3 to 4 cube scale auto, but they just left too much out there, guys. They let good teams pair up, and I think that was a bad choice by the number 1 alliance not to try to scorch. My favorites going in had to be the 1806, 842, and 7179 number 2 alliance, who even had a good backup in 2478. I mean, that is a pretty awesome SWAT. Falcon with the what do we call them? Beatty Crunch, is that it? Right, the new rookie team with the awesome switch spot. Man, looking in for a 3rd robot, I'm like that's it. That's the alliance that's taking it on paper. Other strong alliances, though, too. Alliance 3, 987, 2122. Alliance 4 with 2102, 2046, and probably the steal of the draft, 364, looking really good. Alliance 6 had so much upside as well. 1538, the Holy Cows, 2848, the All Sparks, 1318, and getting a steal on their last pick, too, with 3847 Spectrum. I actually thought my prediction ahead of time was going to be a 2v6 alliance. I thought 6 could actually upset the number 3 seed. They took it to 3 matches. 3 moved on, and then 3 beat 2 as well. So you had a 8v3 in the finals. And I'll tell you that because of all those distractions, I wasn't even thinking about the number 8 alliance going in. I don't think many others were either. But number 8 alliance, 1533 Triple Strange, 1296 Full Metal Jackets, 2655 Flying Platypi, and then joining them, they didn't play any matches, but 3593 as well. And it was absolutely beautiful and poetic to see this alliance keep winning, especially when you had 3v6 in the quarters, 2v3 in the semis, taking the attention. These teams should be absolutely commended for fantastic play and showing the right combination of the teams that take a division no matter what seed they are. And if you haven't checked out our Facebook page. We've live streamed. We're going to put up a part of that live stream in just a moment as well too. That we interviewed 4 out of the 6 division winners and their celebrations at championships. Those are on our Facebook page. You can check them out. I used up pretty much all my data plans, so now I have to buy a new one for Detroit. But with that said, let's take a look at an excerpt from the emotion of Triple Strange with that live stream, Nick. All right, one moment. So we'll delay for that for a second. But did any of you guys watch Turing, by the way? Did you get an opportunity to see this 8-seed upset?
I don't think so. I think I just saw it after the fact, or just heard about it or read about it after the fact.
Yeah.
All right. Apparently I screwed up and I did not put the live stream or upload it correctly. So that's my bad. So, but you can watch it on our Facebook page. I took a little excerpt or render out of that and I must upload it into the wrong spot. No worries. So, there was free Wi-Fi at the event. Yeah. Free Wi-Fi for streaming. I highly doubt that. So before we get into the FRC top 25, let's wrap up with my least favorite part of Houston, Minute Maid. So I'm not going to rant too hard about that, but there are a few things that we need to talk about. First off, Minute Maid, the venue itself was okay. I mean, there was nothing. It was a baseball stadium. Nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. Now, here's the problem. There's a few things. First off, security, way better this year. I got lucky. I got to go through the invited guest entrance, but talking to some other teams, they said it was way, way better than what it was prior. So kudos to them for getting that expedited. I hope it wasn't because less people showed up. It seemed pretty full in the first bowl, so I don't know what their numbers, if they took attendance or what those numbers were. And the event got done a bit after 9, a lot better than 11:30 or whatever time it was last year. So these were acceptable.
Is that really what it was?
Yeah, it was late. We were all at the after party at Vex Champs for many hours before first champs were done and watching it. So those were acceptable to me. I think those are what I expect. That's okay. Three main aspects that absolutely were not and somewhat either need to be fixed or thought about as well. So let's talk about the first thing, field location. Now, this is probably going to be the hardest thing to fix because I get it. The price to put a field on the grass or whatever the hell their issue is with that stuff, even though people can apparently picnic on it a week later, like last year, there's an issue with that. I get that. And also, the guy from Qualcomm was clearly standing on the grass, so I wonder if they got a nice big fine and Qualcomm flipped the bill or anything like that. But the field view was horrible if you were there. There was nowhere. So I'm going to ask Nick to pop on in a second, but like I was sitting behind home plate, which is awesome, at a normal baseball stadium, and I could see the speakers pretty well, but I couldn't see the field at all. Nick, you guys were up in the stands, right? And how was your view from there? Mike isn't Nick. This preparedness, we need to work on this. Come on. I'll let him pop in a second, but with that said, that we'll talk about that in a moment. Okay, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so Einstein for us, I mean, of course it was fun because, you know, we ended up coming out on top. But I got to say, Minute Maid kind of sucks, like really bad. The reserve seats that they gave for us, we couldn't see the field at all for anything. So basically we were stuck watching the big screen and anyone that stood at the podium. Other than that, like security check was fine. We pretty much just were able to walk right in and whatnot.
So where were your fields in relation to where were your seats in relation to the field?
So our seats were basically
you were on the third baseline, right?
Third baseline just left of home plate. And of course the field is between second and third base. So it's way out there, and we saw absolutely nothing other than a couple of people standing on a stage.
Yeah. See, I lucked out. I had my telephoto lens with me, so I could look pretty close most of the time. That was kind of nice. So, okay. So thanks, Nick. So that's problem one. And somebody asked, is Detroit going to be better? I would hope so. Because I think they're going to probably be on the grass for that or somewhere nearby. So problem one, which I think will be the hardest problem to fix. Let's talk about the two problems that are easy to fix and are absolutely a freaking ridiculous that a professional organization that's been hired is not doing better. And that is a crappy AV that was there. And by the way, those who said the stream wasn't any better, we had to watch what you guys saw on a stream, except it was on a big screen about 400 feet back. That's what we got to see for Einstein, for both FTC and FRC. Not to mention the FTC overlay took over part of the screen, and we couldn't see that. So imagine, we get to hear the cheering. The environment is okay. Nick, of course, puts up the amazing AV view of that. And okay, so I actually have lost track of where I am here. So go ahead, Mike.
So considering AV, so I'm gonna take the side a little bit of the AV production company.
That's getting paid tens of thousands of dollars. Yes.
Right. Exactly. However, but they don't broadcast these every day of the week. This is something that is very foreign to them. So I don't know where the breakdown of communication is. Obviously, I think it's between First and the production company. They even didn't have enough meetings or what to say this is what we need and this is what we don't need. Considering the bad changes, there's no excuse of flipping to the the podium instead of a field shot, even though it may have been a wrong field shot. My cousin works in the production industry. During the NFL season, he sits in the truck and he is the one that pushes the buttons that make the cameras turn on your TV. And he does that. So I've actually gotten to see that in the truck before. So obviously it was wrong. Obviously this shouldn't have happened. And we all wanted, the full field view, but there was some breakdown, I think, between First and the production company, I would think.
Absolutely.
I'm hoping that the production company didn't get clear instructions from First and still did this. The things of the bad, again, the bad issue, the change of changing the podium instead of a camera, that's on the production company 100%.
Mm-hmm.
However, not focusing on certain things and they just don't know the game like we do. So we can't hold them to a standard that you just can't hold them to that standard because they don't know any better.
No, you know what? That's a really valid point, Mike. That if it was not communicated with them that they should not be switching cameras every 4 seconds, I get that. That makes sense to me. But I'm going to give you an example on divisions. When they're doing a line selection, they literally were pumping in the wrong audio for all the fields. The field that I was on for the awards. I'm sorry, for the division awards, they were pumping in audio from other fields into ours, and we couldn't hear our people as they were talking. I'm going to assume audio was pumped into other fields. And that went on for 3 awards.
Oh my God.
What the hell?
That's horrible.
Another example, 2 fields that I saw line selections on, they didn't get their MCs handheld mics. They literally, the first field I saw the MC say, here, speak into my mic that's on my mouth and talk into that for the first alliance pick. Come on. Are you serious? Oh man. All right. I know I'm getting triggered. I'm sorry, but AV is a big thing. Okay. So mishaps. The foghorn match happening because they couldn't display it on the big screen. Ridiculous.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. So they literally finals 1 got foghorned because they forgot to put the video up on the screen for everybody to watch. And it was a green screen.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I missed that. I must have. Yeah. I think I came in. I was out. I must have came in just after.
Probably like me and enjoying diet soda a lot. So here's another one. FTC finals.
Here's another one.
FTC finals match 2. They announced the winner incorrectly. They said a champion was crowned, and they didn't win the match.
The
second year in a row. It's embarrassing.
I did like those guys though. They were really good.
Oh yeah,
I
did
like the FTC
It's not.
guys.
I don't think it's their fault at all. But it's unacceptable. And it took the steam out of the finale celebration. They want this to be a big finale. Don't keep screwing it up. Not having a horse in the race anymore. I enjoyed Minute Maid personally because I got to hang out with friends. I got to talk to people I like. That's cool, right? But it's not about me. It's about the team experiences, which is why Nick, who's on World Champion Team 148, why I want to bring him in here in a second to talk anything else he wants to say, because I feel like there's just parts that miss the mark. Fix it first. Teams pay $5,000 to go to the World Championship, and this crap isn't
just
fixed.
the registration fee, not including travel, lodging, food, all this stuff. Time away, vacation time, all this stuff.
Horrible. I shouldn't say. I'm going to retract that. Not horrible, but unacceptable at the same time. So I want to include it. Houston was enjoyable, but I can't recognize I can't not recognize just what went on there. So calm me down here for a second. I need to talk about a couple other things and then bring on Nick here. 254 guys, best team in first ever. I'm going to say that right now. I have waited until this year to say that. I know other people have said it a lot earlier, but tied for the most amount of world championships, did the most blue banners, tied for the most division wins. There's no doubt. And the reason why I was reluctant is that 71 was from my childhood, right? They won 3 out of 4 years I was in high school. So they've always been positioned to be the best team ever. But 254, securely has been crowned king in my book, guys. So that it's just crazy. So I want to bring in Nick, and then I'll have you guys kind of do a little round table. But Nick, big congrats with 148. Producer Nick on the stream on 148, and his team having an amazing championship. Even without 254 guys, this is a world champion. Like I truly feel like they were in a different division. They would have been at Einstein and been playing in the finals for Worlds. These guys rock. Watching JVN coach close up, by the way, was a cool marvel to see. So Nick, congratulations on your 3rd world championship. Anything else you want to say about your championship experience?
It was pretty fun. A lot of hard work was put into it, and a lot of it was all the kids. So they definitely deserve it. It's always great seeing, all these seniors go through the program, and then their senior year culminates in, a championship win is pretty cool. Especially Madison, our lead CAD student this year, marked 10 intake at championships, never broke a single one. So that was pretty awesome.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I was excited to see her on the webcast down on on Minute Maid Field. She just looked like she was in her glory, getting the robot ready and stuff. So it was pretty awesome.
Yep, for sure. Hashtag how many spins you got?
Yeah, put that up there. By the way, that was so cool. And you guys did that. Did you do that on Division as well too?
Yes. So we did that with.
Right. You did it with Mad Tech.
No, it was 1296. It was actually unplanned too. They just kind of joined in on the fun because
Yes. Well, no way. There's no way that was unplanned.
Full disclosure, it was unplanned.
All right.
It was the opposing alliance, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so
it was the
from my view of it,
round
right?
Robin.
Yeah, you guys were celebrating, right? Because you've crushed them, and then it's like, what the heck? We'll just spin 2. It's
they're both IFI teams, so that's why I thought.
Well, that too, but there's nothing they can do in that last 5 seconds that is going to change the match. So, might as well have some fun with it, I guess.
That's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
So one last thing, I forgot about this, and I'm going to try to be calm about it. Another big miscue, and this wasn't a miscue, but it needs to be changed by first. 2 years in a row that the Woody Flowers Award winner has been going to the other championship. I get it. I get it. You're not always going to have the Woody Flowers Award winner at championship. That makes sense. But why not wait? Is it really that? Do you really have that much pride that you have to give it away at the first championship so other teams don't feel like they're hurt over it wasn't given away, so clearly somebody from their team didn't win? Are you serious? So you're going to take that away from that mentor?
Or better yet, why not 2? There's
everything
nothing
else
more confusing to me than the group of people that decide that, which is the Woody Flowers Award winners. It's not
which are the people standing up there.
Yeah,
which present a trophy to no one.
That there can only be one. We have 2 chairman's awards each year. We have 2 teams that are both deserving of that award, and yet we're saying that out of the thousands of teams and countless mentors, there's only one deserving Woody Flowers Award winner each year. And we have to, do it at the first event, even though the last 2 years they haven't been there.
It's just
it's
really
ridiculous to me.
Well, because I think Christine, maybe you and I were talking about it or something. Can you imagine being that person watching this?
Or the kids on that team, it's like taking that moment away.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand it. I really hope that the people that make that decision at least take the feedback soon about there only being one at both championship, or at least figure out, okay, how do we do it in a way where it's not awkward like that, or it's not robbing that team and that mentor of that moment that they can't really reproduce now that they've heard it either secondhand. They're asking people to hop on social media and congratulate this woman. Yeah. She could be out, I don't know, doing literally anything else. Like, and I don't know. It makes me really mad.
It's a shame. It really is. Like, that's kind of like, that's the only word I can come up with for that.
I really feel like it's like discouraging teams from even really applying for the award anymore. Like, we have 209 teams in New England. We only give out one. Only 74 teams applied this year for Woody Flowers.
Really?
And I get it. Like, why like, do it that way when you can just, honor your mentor however else you want, if there's only going to be one in your district or, one in the world. So
yeah, maybe we need to start looking into like a way to transform this, right? This Woody Flowers Award was created when there was literally 10% of the teams that there are now.
Oh, not even. Yeah.
Something like that, where it was much easier to manage. It just first is growing so big that like you just said, like there's 74 there out of 209 people that could have submitted. That's a ton of essays to read. I bet you it's overwhelming for all these people. And I get that. So maybe we need to start looking into a different way, like keep this award somehow, but different way to honor like these people more and more.
We should bring back the unsung first heroes, guys.
Oh, good idea. I think too, Libby have said that in MAR they do something where at each event, it's not a district award specifically, but it's like something their district does at each event where they recognize a mentor. I forget the name of it, but she had told me about it, and I was like, that's brilliant. We should do it in New England. We should do it everywhere because, it's just a really great moment for the kids to be able to showcase like the impact that their mentors are having on them. And I don't know. I really hope that they go to 2. There's really no reason for it not to be. I mean, it's an elite group of people, and I get that, but at the same time, like there are so many deserving people, and it's just awkward now that it's been 2 years in a row of, oh, here's the Woody Flowers Award winner who's not here. Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
But side note, by the way, we are bringing back the unsung first heroes. It's been on me. It's been delayed just with everything going on, but it will be coming back. I promise you. I don't promise things very often because I know that sometimes in this business we can't always keep them, but I promise you we will be bringing back the unsung first heroes, and it will be coming. It will be coordinated, and people will be recognized on this show for it.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
All right, guys. I know we're running long, so thanks for bearing with my lit my steam out. It's always easy to complain. I get that, and I know I have a microphone, so I can do something like that more. Overall, Houston experience was still good. I give it a solid B, but there are clearly things that need to be fixed to make the experience for teams, not for Tyler, but for teams better.
That's true. I mean, because that's what I was saying, Tyler, right? Like we kind of get like a different experience from all these students and people, right? It's like it's just tough because like, we're getting better views, like we're getting better access than a lot of people get. And like, it just must be so hard, I think, in some of these circumstances for the average Joe, I guess, for a lack of better term there. These people that are again spending so much money, so much time, sacrificing so much to come to this event that in a lot of ways, a few ways, I should say, a few ways fall very short. They do a lot of things very well, but a few things are not need a lot of improvement.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
All right, so with that, that's kind of going to wrap up our Houston recap here, and we're going to kind of get into the Detroit final FRC Top 25. So again, these results were taken from our final poll that received 545 submissions. Out of that list, we found the top 25 teams from Houston, put them in a list, and then the top 25 teams from Detroit, put them in a list. And we're going to go over that list tonight. So we will have a final FRC Top 25 next week after Detroit. And we're coming up with a kind of a cool way to display that. I think more details to follow. Correct,
Mm-hmm.
Tyler?
Yes, that's right.
Perfect. So each year, in honor of the best teams attending championships and making the FRC Top 25 poll, we will present to your team an awesome sticker to prominently place in the robot to show that the FRC and the fun community has recognized your team as a top team in FRC.
So yeah, so Nick will bring those up as we're talking a little bit, but make sure you guys, if you are at champs, hopefully let your people in the pit know, because it's usually we'll stop you there or the field. It's fun. I'm sorry to jump in, Christine. It's funny because when I gave these away at Houston, out of the 25, about 20 are super excited. 2 have no clue what's going on, and 3 just don't absolutely don't care because
just indifferent.
Because I don't know, yeah. because they're who they are. So
Yeah. And don't forget that we have brand new apparel from First Style, including an option for your team to grab a shirt that lets everybody know that your team was on the top 25. And we'll have a special FRC Top 25 Detroit t-shirt available for teams right after the show airs, which is sweet. And we're keeping costs as low as possible for these customized shirts, and shipping is a flat $5 to the US and Canada. So go ahead and order for your whole team. I mean, why not? International shipping is also available, and you can find our apparel link at firstupdatesnow.com or by going to shopfirststyle.com. And we also have a 10% off coupon. I love coupons so much. I get such coupon highs sometimes. Coupon fever. So we have a 10% off coupon available on our website, and you can use the code FUN10. And if your team is on the Detroit Top 25 list, or you want to help recognize the Houston teams, we'll have a special t-shirt available for you and your team, which will appear on the site right after the show. So be sure to go and get that.
Perfect. Sounds good. So Christine, filling in for Justin tonight. I'm excited to walk down the top 25 with you.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Send me one of those Mark Leon stickers, by the way.
Yeah. They just came in today. Thank God.
Do you have them?
I was completely sold out, but a fresh batch just came in, and I'll be bringing things to Detroit as well. So
awesome.
So slick.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So that being said, we're going to kind of blast through our way here. And to kick things off, in our 25th spot, we have Team 772. And they're from Windsor, Ontario, Canada, and Sandwich Secondary School. It's the Saber Bites. Saber Bites Robotics, excuse me. They have an overall record of 34-15, and they were the winners of the Windsor Essex Great Lakes District event. So taking home one district win this season, they entered the Ontario Provincial Champs 2 weeks ago, looking to add to their medal collection. They would play on the science field and would seed 19th after going 5-7. They would be selected to the 7th Alliance and would exit there in the quarterfinals. So 7-7-2 can place a cube on the scale in auto and then just runs really nice cycles from there. Ooh. They have a nice 7-7 who? They have a nice hook delivery system to be able to climb alongside someone else. So congrats to the Saber Bites and good luck to them as they'll be competing on the Darwin Field this weekend in Detroit. Congrats to them. 7-7 who? I love that cheer. That's so great. It's perfect. All right, so moving on to our 24th spot. That's going to be Team 340 from Churchville, New York, and Churchville-Chiley High School. It's the Greater Rochester Robotics Team. Grr. With an overall record of 32-3. They were the winners of the Central New York and the Finger Lakes Regional. So they have an incredible 32 wins and only 3 losses on this team. Trying to be unbiased here. This is my alma mater team, the team I was on and mentored for a while. I got to see them at the Finger Lakes Regional. They have just excellent autonomous modes. Something that I want to say because I was on the team for about 10 years, something that we had struggled with for a long time. Really have a lot of great autonomous modes this year. They can place a cube in the near or the far side on the scale, or they can place 2 in their own switch in auto as well. They have quick, effective cycles, and they can co-climb at the end. So I'm just really excited and happy to see them here. It's just a team that has been working hard. The first regional win here in our hometown regional, and I think it's been here since 2005. They've been finalists something like 5 out of the last 7 years or 6 out of the last 7 years, something crazy. They've been finalists and have never won the hometown regional, but finally got it. So they'll be in the Tesla division. As we'll see, it's going to be, as we know, and we'll see in the top 25, it's going to be a pretty tough division, a pretty deep division this year. But they'll be, I think, definitely, they should be up there, top 10, top 5. They're just really consistent as they go out. So congrats to 340 and Rankin 24.
I say I'll be on bias for you, Mike. They're awesome.
Yeah, they're good. They're really good and consistent. And that's that's just what you need in this game, and that's key. I mean, you need those cubes on the scale.
Why is there a robot named Shaq with a K?
I don't know. I didn't even know that was their robot's name. I thought it was something else actually.
Well, that's what it says on TBA. So.
I thought their picture showed something else.
Oh, maybe so.
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows? All righty. All right. Moving on to our 23rd spot. That's going to be Team 177 from South Windsor, Connecticut, and South Windsor High School. It's Bobcat Robotics. They have an overall record of 41-15. They were the winners of the Hartford District. event. So taking home a silver at their first event, 177, would continue their success. And with their second event, taking home the win there. They would enter the New England District Championship ranked third, and they would captain the second alliance. They place a Cuban auto, and they run nice cycles with good placement on the scale, and they can climb at the end. And they would take home the silver from the New England District Championship. So in a second, I'm going to ask Christine if she has anything to add about Bobcat. But so back when I was a student and an early mentor, 177 was the original 1678 in terms of Einstein appearances. So I remembered, and I couldn't remember how many, so I just looked it up earlier when we were talking about 1678. So they as well made Einstein appearances 6 times in a row from 2006 to 2011. It was on Einstein. So they look to make it. Oh, I'm sorry. So yeah, so 6 times in a row. So congrats to Bobcat, and they'll be in the Darwin division, hoping to make it back to Einstein there. So Christine, I don't know if you have anything to add on them, but yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up in that area. I was on 175 in high school, and they were one of our sister UTC teams, and they were one of the most dominant teams in the Northeast for a really long time. Like you were saying, 6 appearances on Einstein. That's not by luck. They built really solid robots. They had really aggressive strategy. I mean, New England defense is brutal, but they were able to really, deal with it on the offense. But it's great to see them make a comeback this year. I know that they had a few rocky seasons when their main sponsor kind of split from UTC, but they've definitely, laid a really solid foundation this year for years to come. So I'm excited to see them on Darwin. I'll be on Darwin with my team, and they were phenomenal at district champs. I mean, they beat my team's alliance, but they were awesome. So I'm excited to see them at champs.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. It's just unbelievable.
Are we going to see an Einstein appearance from them?
Maybe.
Only if it's with my team.
There you go. Fair enough.
There you go.
All right. So moving on to the number 22 spot, we have another New England team. It is team 133 from Standish, Maine, and Bonnie Eagle High School. It's Burt. They have an overall record this year of 44-9, and they were the winners of the North Shore District, Pine Tree District, and the Pine Tree District Chairman's Award. So 133 came out really strong this year, seeding first at Reading during week 3, and they took home the gold and kept their momentum going the following week at the Pine Tree District event. They had a strong showing at the New England District Championship, seeding 4th, and formed a solid alliance with Team 125 and Team 238. 133's simple yet solid design allows them to place on the scale with ease, even if it's, 2 or 3 stacks high. And their climbing winch system really allows them to kind of make space for anybody else on their lines that needs to, hop on the bar and take up more space than they do. That was also one of their main strategies with their partners 319 at the North Shore District event. That was one of the reasons, why it was an obvious choice for them to pair up with 319. They were able to climb at the same time. And I'm always just amazed at how simple their robots are, but how well they, play their game, play their strategy. They had a lot of different autonomous modes that paired well with other alliances during qualifications and during eliminations. So, I think they're going to do great. They're going to be on the Carson division at championship. So keep an eye out for team 133 from Standish, Maine.
Sweet.
It's cool to see all these Maine's a huge state. And when we drove up to the Pine Tree District each year, it's in the middle of nowhere, but you get these teams that are just solid year after year after year. And 133 is becoming one of those, powerhouse Maine teams where, they may not have a lot of big resources in the area, but they're killing it each year. So kudos to them and good luck.
Yeah. So what you're saying, it's a perfect name for it, right? Pine Tree District.
Yeah.
Literally nothing up there. Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's actually
I'd say, Christine, I'll ask you later, but I was really, when I saw your alliance with Burt and 238, the Crusaders at the district champs, I was like, I was flabbergasted that alliance formed at that rate. So we'll probably ask you about it. Just a thought of mine makes me think we're going to ask you about it later. To talk more about that.
Yeah, I'll definitely have more to say about that.
during a break, right? No other time that we'd be mentioning.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because 133 beat us at North Shore. It was 125 and 238 that they played in the finals, and they steamrolled us at North Shore, and it was cool to work with them at district champs rather than having to play against them again.
For sure.
All right, so moving on to our 21st spot is Team 1360 from Oakville, Ontario, Canada, and Oakville Community First Robotics. It's Orbit Robotics with an overall record of 44-9-1. They were the winners of the Georgian and York district events. Orbit had 3 banners on the year, 2 district wins and a district chairman's award, and headed into the Ontario Provincial Championships looking for some more hardware. They would finish 6th with a 2.5 ranking score average and would be selected to the 3rd alliance, but would exit in the semifinals against the number 2 alliance. Orbit can place 2 cubes in the switch and auto, and that adds to the pile on the scale and can solo climb at the end. Congrats to Orbit on a great season so far in the stacked Ontario district, and good luck on the Tesla division.
So yeah, here's another team, Tesla.
Tesla.
I had to say it since he's not here.
In the Tesla. It was from the pit announcer, right? It's like Team 1360 in the Tesla.
Yeah,
division.
I just remember Justin always saying it.
Yeah, Tesla. So yeah, here's another team that's going to be in the Tesla division. And Orbit has been in the top 25 a couple times this year, and I think made their debut maybe last year, if I'm remembering that correctly. Because I think the 2 Orbits that we had. So another team and making, we always say it, and you guys are probably tired of us saying it, but Ontario just has been producing some awesome robots and teams over the last several years, and Orbit is one of them. So it's cool to see them here at 21st.
Definitely. All right, so moving on to the 20th spot. It is one of my favorite teams from my childhood days in first. It is Team 25 from North Brunswick, New Jersey, and North Brunswick Township High School. It's Raider Robotics. With an overall record of 63-11, they were 3-time district winners of the Mount Olive, Montgomery, and Hatsboro Horsam events. Raider Robotics has really excelled in MAR this year. 3 district events and 3 district wins. In the Mid-Atlantic District Champs 2 weekends ago, they would rank 2nd and captain that alliance, but would lose to the number 1 alliance in the finals. 25 is a quick robot with an elevator that is quick to the scale. They have a smart drive team playing the game that's handed to them by the opposing alliance. An awesome season so far by Raider Robotics, and they have more business to take care of. Congrats and good luck on the Carson division this weekend.
Yeah, I love the elevator that 25 has this year, and watching some matches, right? They just, like Christine said, they just play the game that's handed to them. So went to the human station to get a cube, and they got it, and it was they were getting some defense on, right? The robot turns the other way and just kind of hugs the sidewall and the opponent's switch, and they try to get through it a little bit, and they're like, all right, never mind, we'll just go, and then they put it in their side of the switch, then they go get another one, and then so they have a really good coach and drive team this year, and 3 wins, 3 district wins is huge, and then a finalist here at the district championship. So awesome job by them.
So interesting enough, their drive coach Sean McNulty actually was at Houston this weekend because he was being the drive coach of the All Sparks. Down there because Greg Nadell had some meetings kind of unexpected or not quite. It became overwhelming, really. And so he asked Sean to help out, and he ended up just kind of coaching a match or two, and ended up doing a really good job. The kids liked him a lot, and ended up coaching the team as well. So, talking, which is awesome. So talking to him, I've been at Houston, man. Like, I think he has really big expectations for his team. And I think he has right to be. They won 25 won the first match of MAR champs, right? And 1640, their line sprinter kind of had some unfortunate issues during that, and nothing against the number 1 alliance because they're phenomenal, and we're going to be talking about some of those teams later. But 25, man, I think has a really, really good shot in the Carson division, and I think could end up being a really good team up, a really good pick with a couple other teams in this division as well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing 25 down there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and Sean is no stranger to the big stage, but it's kind of a nice primer for him too, right? To kind of get his head in the game for the big stage that the championship is. So that's a really cool story. All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about our 19th ranked team. That's going to be Team 4003, and they're from Allendale, Michigan, and Allendale and Jenison High Schools. It's Tri-Sonics. They have an overall record of 52-12, and they were the winners of the Michigan District Championship. We could have an underrated team alert here, in my opinion. They have 2 district wins with the District Chairman's Award. They entered the Ford Division at MSC and would rank 3rd and captain that alliance. They would beat alliances 6 and 7 and 1 to face the Consumers Field in the semifinals, and beat the DTE Energy Field winners in the finals. So 4003 can place 1 and 2 cubes on the scale on Otto and his unique reaching mechanism to really be able to effectively and strategically place cubes on the scale there in Teleop. So they have a 5-banner season here, they'll be competing in Archimedes. So congratulations and good luck to 4003, the Trisonics.
So they were being talked about quite a bit on our Houston show our Detroit show last night. So go check that out. But definitely, I think our FIM fans will be happy to see them in the top 25. And it's cool to see them start to get the recognition because you mentioned, Mike, 5 blue banners on there. I mean, one of that includes their division win at MSC champs and then the MSC champ banner as well. But still, this team is absolutely lights out, and it's cool to see that they're getting the recognition in a Michigan depth that sometimes you can get lost in quite easily.
Yeah. So I know a couple people already think they're underrated as well. So
yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah. So definitely should be going far there in the Archimedes field. All right. In our 18th spot, we have Team 3683 from Waterloo, Ontario, Canada, and St. David Catholic Secondary School. It's Team Dave. They have an overall record of 31 and 15. And they were the winners of the Waterloo District event. So Team Dave appears here in the top 25 at 18 after yet another successful season for them. So Dave doesn't always really have the district or the event wins to show how good they are. But their theme this year and many years is just consistency. So they don't make a lot of mistakes or drop cubes. They always...
not on the field, at least.
What's that?
They don't make mistakes on the field, at least.
Yeah, right, there you go. So they had a consistent showing in Ontario again this year. And though, despite that, I mean, they were only quarterfinalists there at the first Ontario Provincial Championship. But they'll be in the daily division this year. And so congratulations to Team Dave and good luck to them. Always, it just feels like, like I said, they don't have the wins to show up, but a lot of those times were like finalists to a 2056, 1114 kind of thing, or a 610, 1241, something like that. So, they've just been doing really well over the past several years. So good luck and congrats to them.
All right. And sticking in Canada, we're going to the number 17 spot, which goes to Team 4678 from Breslau, Ontario, Canada, and Woodland Christian High School. It's the Cyber Cavs. With an overall record of 33 and 16, they were semifinalists at the Ontario Provincial Championships. And with 2 semifinal appearances in the season at Waterloo and North Bay District events, they entered their district championship looking for that gold. They would rank 5th, but would captain a number 3 alliance. Though they took it to 3 matches, they exited yet again in the semifinals. They will be on the Tesla division this year as they look to get further than the semifinals, which I'm sure is a monkey on their back at this point. But the Cyber Cavs have a very cool jointed arm that's able to reach high on the scale. Well-designed and executed robot. Good luck this weekend in Detroit. I think that, once we get to champs, those like jointed arms are going to be really key to limbs and even, qualification matches where you're going to see a full scale. So I'm sure they're going to do great.
Yeah. They were talked about too in our Detroit preview yesterday as well, quite highly. And I'm not sure if they fell into a dark horse spot or where they were, but Cyber Cavs definitely getting the recognition by the community.
Mm-hmm. Yep, rightfully so. All right. So in our 16th spot, we have Team 2481 from Tremont, Illinois, and Tremont High School. It's the Roboteers. They have an overall record of 49 wins, 1 loss. They were the winners of the St. Louis, the Central Illinois, and the Wisconsin regionals. So in addition to those 3 wins, they also took home the Regional Chairman's Award at St. Louis. They have 4 banners, 5 medals. Must have been something else I missed. And they'll be in the Darwin division. So, Tyler, I'm going to hand this one off to you, and you can take it and run with it.
Can this be the snub of the week?
It could be. Let's do it.
Holy crap. I mean, maybe I don't know if it's because they haven't played since like week 4 or something like that, but what the hell, guys? 48-1, and their one loss was it was, I mean, out of their control sort of thing. Like, they've had 2 alliance partners that just weren't really doing very well, but 16th in just Detroit alone, which means they're going to be lower in the overall top 25 and potentially miss the top 25. If we were to do just the community poll, more to come on that later. Wow. Okay. They should be better. They should be higher ranked than that. The 2041 is going to be a top contender for their division, and I would be really surprised to see if they're not at least in the finals of their division. They're in Darwin, I believe, if that's correct, right?
Yes, Darwin.
So, Christine, maybe a team up with you or something like that. You never know.
Hey, our pits are right near each other, so
there you go.
Yeah, because that makes logical sense.
I know, right?
Sense.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot of great. Detroit is crazy because the divisions are so much deeper than what Houston were. So anything can happen with that, but it was cool.
Sweet. All right. So moving on to 15th, we have team 319 from Elton, New Hampshire, and Prospect Mountain High School. It's Big Bad Bob. With an overall record of, this is so fun to say, with an overall record of 61-11, they were the winners of the New England District Championship. So a finalist appearance at the Central New York Regional. They picked up a wild card there way back early in the season. They would take 2 district wins at North Shore and the UNH events, and they would enter the New England District Championship 2 weeks ago, looking for some more hardware. They would rank second with a 3.16 ranking score average, and were taken first overall. So 319 specializes in cube placement on the switch and auto, and then helps out on the scale and can then solo hang there at the end. Incredible season for 319. They have 72 official matches, not including some in the preseason, heading into another team going into the Tesla division. So amazing work to them. Congrats and good luck. Kind of just from what I saw, the brief thing, I don't think they're very flashy, but very steady and very consistent in what they do. So I don't know if you have anything to add to this, Christine.
Yeah, so I mean, they came in super solid this year. They went out of district and pulled, as people have apparently called it, the 125 method, where you go and compete at a regional first and then you come back into your district. So I think that really helped prepare them for, the having a really successful season this year. They added on some buddy lift forks, the 118 style forks bumpers for district champs. And those worked pretty well. So I'm sure we'll see more of that as they head into champs. And I mean, this is a team that last year didn't even qualify for district champs, and they, took home a lot of hardware and, took home the district champs win. So I'm sure we'll see more from them in Tesla, and should be good.
Yeah. All right. So moving on to our 13th ranked spot, that's going to be team 4917 from Elmira, Ontario, Canada, and Elmira District Secondary School at Sir Lancerbot. They have an all record.
I think we skipped one here.
Dang it.
Math
is hard.
Well, that's all right.
So what do you guys want to do?
Let's do 14, then we'll go to 13, just so we can keep it in order for Nick.
Okay, keep it in order. So our 14th ranked team, is team 225 from York, Pennsylvania, and Techfire Robotics of York. It's Techfire. They have an overall record of 65-9, and they were the winners of the Mid-Atlantic District Championship event. So an absolute stellar year for Techfire. They were the number 1 seed and finalists at the Greater DC event. They were the winners of the Springside Chestnut Hill event, winner of Montgomery event, and were selected first overall to the number 1 alliance and won the Mid-Atlantic District Championship event 2 weekends ago. We just love their articulated 4-bar grabber. They're so quick around the field and can climb there at the end. Kind of in my opinion, if they can kind of acquire cubes a little faster, they do tend to chase them a little bit on the field. They'll just be like really, really hard to beat there. So just an amazing season for Techfire. They'll be competing on the Carson field. So good luck to them. And thank you to them for providing a hat for our giveaway today. And that'll be coming up here in a little bit. And we'll let you know how you can win that.
Yeah, Techfire, definitely a great team. And they've been very consistent through the years. I mean, barely missed Einstein by a hair last year. And they were, I kind of put together my own top 25. They would have been a little bit higher in my list. Only a few spots, but Techfire, I mean, it's a great team. And I have no doubt in Carson, they're going to do very well.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So Spoiler alert. Our 13th ranked team is Team 4917 from Elmira, Ontario, Canada, and Elmira District Secondary School. It's Sir Lancer Bot. They have an overall record of 44-13. They were the winners of the FOPC Technology Division, and were finalists there, obviously at the championship there. So Sir Lancer Bot sits here at 13th after taking home 2 district wins at Waterloo and North Bay, and they entered the provincial championship 2 weekends ago. Competing on the technology division, they finished 4th, and they were selected 2nd overall. Their success comes from their cue placement in the switch and auto and filling up the scale and teleop and then climbing at the end. They were able to take out the number 1 seed in that division and advance to play the science division, and 2 hard-fought battles just couldn't pull out the win there. They'll be in the Darwin division here in Detroit this weekend. And another Ontario team just having a great season.
Yeah.
And just the move to districts for them has just been phenomenal. Just giving these teams that are just working so hard, and there's so many of them in Ontario, just more chances to play. So that's been great for them. So awesome season to Sir Lancer Bot, 49-17, and good luck this weekend.
All right, and moving on to the number 12 spot. It is Team 2590 from Robbinsville, New Jersey, and Robbinsville High School. It's Nemesis. With an overall record of 69-6, they were the winners of the Mid-Atlantic District Championship. They've had an unbelievable season this year. We've loved talking about them every time they've been on the top 25, which has been a lot this year. Nemesis has been the number 1 seed at every event they've attended. Finalists at Bridgewater, Raritan, and winners at the Hudson Valley Regional, and winner at H&H, and winner of the MAR District Championships. They can place 2 cubes on the switch in auto, and can place one on the scale, and then can play either in teleop. So let's not forget about their awesome triple climber too. I feel like we don't see a ton of super successful ones. So I mean, That's definitely going to be a standout for them at champs. They can get can they get the 5th number 1 seed in Detroit? We'll predict yes. So congrats on an amazing season so far, and good luck on the Tesla division this weekend.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, that'll be really hard, obviously, with all these great teams in Tesla. So I set Christine up there. I wrote that one. So so don't blame Christine. But, I definitely think, it's just, 4 number 1 seeds this year for them. They have the ability, obviously, to get those ranking points, which are just so huge to taking that number 1 seed. And then you can just, obviously pick whoever you want. So it'd be great. Tesla's going to be an awesome show.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm sure Tyler and I will be spending a lot of time over there, I bet. Tesla. All right. So moving on to our 11th ranked team. That's going to be Team 125 from Boston, Massachusetts, in Revere, Brookline, and Boston Latin High Schools. It's the Neutrons. They have an overall record of 65-20. And they were the winners of the Greater Boston District event. So another heck of a season for 125. Finalists at Palmetto.
85 matches. Jesus.
Yeah, insane. And then again, not because they also went to the preseason event too. So add a few more to that robot. Finalists and the District Chairman's Award at the North Shore event. Semifinalists at Rhode Island. Winners of the Greater Boston event. And semifinalists and District Chairman's Award winners at the New England District Championship 2 weekends ago. 5 medals, 3 banners. Neutrons, they have a super quick robot playing all phases so well this year. Its history and last year shows Neutrons play some of their best at the championship level. So really excited to see how they'll do on the Darwin field this year. Christine, you can add anything you would like to. Is your robot still doing the buddy climb system?
Yeah, so since our first event, it's just, since build season, it's just been nonstop tweaking and working on it. We definitely had some issues at the Rhode Island district where a lot of our climbs weren't getting counted, so the students just kept plugging away at that. And apparently they've redesigned a lot. I was sick the last week, so I didn't go to the lab, but when we were packing last night, I definitely saw some stuff that I hadn't seen before that's going to be making its way onto the robot this weekend. So I am excited to see our new buddy climb. Hopefully it'll lift higher, so it's not up to the discretion of people whether or not it's high enough.
We saw in Houston that can be a big thing.
Yeah.
It's just I hate that it's so subjective kind of. So
but it's it's been another season of almost, getting the gold. And it was nice to be undefeated at our own district event. It was definitely a confidence boost for the students after, running into a lot of roadblocks during the season. But we're definitely, primed and ready for champs. And I don't know, I'm excited to play with the other teams on Darwin, and I'm excited to see what the robot will do once the kids, finish whatever work they redesigned on it. So
yeah, very cool.
So Christine, I'm going to come in and be the big bad guy here. I think 125 is a good robot. I do think 11 is a bit too high for them personally. I would have put them closer to the low 20s in my list. I think 125 has a lot of potential and upside. I was a little surprised, and you can scream popularity contests all you want, but when you start getting 550 votes, it starts to balance out pretty well. I was surprised to see them as high as they were, especially above like a team like Nemesis and Techfire.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I was very surprised to see us up here too. A lot of our students like don't even know about the ranking system here, so I can assure you that it's not our kids just like memeing away like in the voting. So I mean, we feel popular.
And nothing, I love you guys anyways, but I like to be as objective as I can with that. And I think, as Mike said, I think 125, it has done really well in championships, and I think we'll still see a great performance by you guys. And I'm really looking forward to seeing your upgrades on your robot.
Yeah.
Sweet. So that brings us to our top 10. Are we doing the release here or is that the top 5, Tyler?
For the giveaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do the giveaway once we start the top 5.
All right.
So I don't know. I don't really have much of a snub of the week, Mike. I don't know if you do.
No, I don't either. It's just when you have the cultivating of this many teams, I'm going to be honest, I was super busy. I didn't have time to look into a snub of the week. But if you have a snub of the week, feel free to post it in chat and we can talk about it that way. Because you guys make up much more bigger population.
Can the snub of the week be people watching Houston finals?
Yeah, snubbed of watching. Yeah, snubbed of the championship.
Yeah, snubbed of the finals. Perfect. Caltran, work that into the top 25 thing somehow. I don't know how you're going to word that.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. I think we can move on, guys. I know we're running short on time. We can definitely move on past this.
Sweet. Sounds good. So in our 10th spot, we have team 1325 from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and Gordon Graydon High School. It's Inverse Paradox. An overall record of 62-11. They were the winners of the Ontario District Championship. So an amazing season for Inverse Paradox. So kind of just going to run down their season here. So Georgian Bay, Silver Gold Kling Bling. They're finalists and District Chairman's Award winners there. York event, they won. McMaster event, Engineering Inspiration Award. The Science Division at the Provincial Championship, they were the winners. And then they were the winners and the Chairman's Award winners at the Provincial Championship. So 7 medals, 5 banners, and they'll be competing in the Archimedes field. So, man, Inverse Paradox looks great. And just as we always say, it's so great when a team is doing well on kind of both sides, right? The robot and then in the chairman's side too. So they have stock in both as they enter Detroit this weekend, and 1325 is just unreal, and they're killing it. So congrats to them, and we'll be watching them there in Archimedes.
Yeah, really looking forward to seeing them in person.
Yeah,
and a team that I've heard of before, but never really haven't paid too much attention until this year. So I definitely want to check them out at the championships. By the way, I just want to give kudos to Caltran for figuring out the snub of the week. He put Houston Einstein viewers. I think that's pretty appropriate.
We're all snubbed.
Thanks, Caltran.
That's perfect. All right. So from one Canadian team to another, we have team 5406 in our 9th spot. And they're from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and Bishop Ryan Catholic Secondary School at Celtics. An overall record of 43-14. They were the winners of the first Ontario Provincial Championship Technology Division and finalists there in the championship. So Celtics has had a great season so far. They took home the gold at their first district event, which was Ryerson. The second event, they would lose in the finals to the Stack 1241, 2056, 6135 Alliance. At provincial champs in the technology division, they would rank second and would beat the number 1 Alliance in the finals. They go for the 3-cube scale auto, getting at least a 2 there. They're just a slick, really quick, efficient machine. Goes up and over the back for speed placement, and kind of goes the forward way for accuracy. They would end up losing to the science division there in the championship, but just an unbelievable season so far, and they'll go really far and really deep there in Darwin. Yeah. So congrats to Celtics, and just another team that is just really has been consistent over the years there in Ontario.
Very true.
Very, very true. And staying in Canada land, in the number 8 spot is Team 1241 from Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and Rick Hansen Secondary School. It's Theory 6. With an overall record of 59-14, they were winners of the Canadian Pacific Regional, Waterloo, and McMaster District. They were finalists at both of those events. Ontario District Championship Technology Field finalists and Ontario District or Provincial champs, Chairman's Award winners. Got like district champs drilled into my brain at this point. So talk about an epic season so far for this team. Theory 6 is becoming as decked out in blue banners and hardware as a lot of the other elite powerhouse Canadian teams. Yep. They headed out west for their first event, seeding first and taking home gold and the Entrepreneurship Award at the Canadian Pacific Regional. They kept their momentum going when they headed back into the Ontario District, seeding 4th at Waterloo, 3rd at McMaster, and 1st in the Technology Division at their provincial championship. Theory 6 and their robot Nightcrawler will be competing on the Tesla division as well as for the Chairman's Award in Detroit. They're a team that, I've always looked up to on the not robot side of things. They're just always really well put together. They have a lot of incredible outreach, and I was able to actually connect with some of them this year through the Compass Alliance. So it's been really cool to watch their success this year. And I think they're going to do a pretty epic job on Tesla at Detroit.
Yeah, agreed. I think I mentioned it either one of the weeks this year. Being from similar area as 1241, we've kind of seen them a lot over the years, whether that's been because they've come down to the Finger Lakes Regional or just the fact that Justin and I have been up in at least in a Canadian event, except for this year, for many years. And we've seen kind of this progression from them. And I think we were there, I don't know which year, which event, but I think we were there the first year they won a Chairman's Award, and just seeing we always talk about that, seeing kind of just the huge excitement of that when a team wins their first one is really cool. So like you said, Christine, just another team that's getting decked out with blue banners and medals year after year. And 1241 is doing a great job.
Absolutely. All right, so moving on to the number 7 spot. Again, another Canadian team. It is Team 610 from North York, Ontario, Canada. In the Crescent School, it's the Crescent Coyotes. With an overall record of 44-7, they were the winners of the Durham College District event. Starting off at 18-0, 610 entered Power Up as a powerhouse, taking the win at Durham College District event. From there, they saw an upset in the semifinals at the Windsor-Essex Great Lakes event. 2 weekends ago, they entered the science division at their not district championships, looking for another gold. They would rank second with a 3.33 ranking score average, and would captain that alliance, losing to the number 6 seed in the semifinals. Though shooter bots can struggle when the pile gets high on the scale, 610 has found some great success this season as a shooter bot. They have a strong, sturdy, reliable climb, too, for the end, and 610 will be able to offer a lot to an alliance on the daily division.
Absolutely. There's no question when 610 climbs if they're above the line.
Yeah, right.
They are up there. Mm-hmm. It's awesome.
So I think 610 has a good chance of seeding well. I do question their viability deep into the playoffs as a first robot. In that, Man, shooter bots to me, they're good for a couple on the scale, but when you start stacking 3 high on the scale, I really do question something like that. And like I said, I think they have a great opportunity to seed really high. I am a little bit worried for them if we see them past even the semifinals potentially because of something like that. I mean, they almost have to pick up the 2 other good scale bots. And as our producer Nick points out to us, no shooters on Einstein and Houston as well, too. There was plenty of shooters there. So it'll be interesting to see.
I think obviously there's a spot. And I think, with these deeper fields. Pardon?
Nothing.
I still think there's a way for them to be successful. I think there's a way, depending on how the rankings work out, to select 2 robots or 3 robots.
Oh,
with
yeah.
them. No, and I think it's great, and I'd love seeing them seeing it as someone who is seeing a team that's taken such a unique route to play this game has been having some great success. So I just love what they've done, and congratulations to them. All right, so last team before another quick break and for our giveaway, we're going to talk about Team 67 from Highland, Michigan and Huron Valley Schools. It's the hot team. They have an overall record of 58-24, and they were the winners of the DTE Energy Division, and they were finalists at the Michigan State Championship. So another busy and successful season for hot. They were finalists at Southfield, double silver Kling Bling at the Milford event, and they were the winners at the Troy event as they entered the MSC 2 weeks ago. They would rank 3rd on the energy field and would be selected 2nd overall. Hot has yet again put up another beautiful robot in aesthetics and just that's not the right word. Oh, execution. Thank you.
There we go.
I was going to say executability, but that's definitely not the right word.
You GW that.
So they're smooth in how they play the game, and their ramp for an alliance partner is just one that anyone can climb and shouldn't struggle with. So Hot will be competing in the Archimedes field this weekend with lots of other First in Michigan teams and lots of other district teams. So I'm excited to see kind of how that works out, and it'd be cool. I have a cool study for all of our free time sometime to see kind of, in relation to how these district teams do there in the at the championship level and how they do with each other. So congratulations to 67 and good luck again there on the Archimedes field.
All right, so as we get into our top 5, we're going to take a quick break here to start our giveaway as we go through. And thank you to everybody who has supported us through this year so far. Of course, awesome Bad Hawks from 1720 to all the teams giving T-shirts, to the Robo Reels we even give away from National Instruments. All of it really helps, obviously, bring people to the table and hopefully build. And we do it because it brings people in for the community aspect of it, right? Honestly, we don't need to give away free stuff on our shows, but it's a cool thing to be able to get swag from other teams. Plus, at some point, we have to let Mike win before he goes crazy. So with that said, Nick has up on the screen the 225 hat that you can get. So make sure if you do win, shoot me a PM, shoot First Updates Now a PM, either on Twitch or on Discord. If you are at championships, I think they can get you a hat at champs if you're at Detroit. So let us know as well. So if you want to win the hat, you got to do something. All you got to do is type in pick 225, one word in the chat, pick 225 in the chat, because if they're not first seed, you should probably pick 225 to be on your alliance. And if you want to win, make sure you do follow the channel, or if you subscribe, you will get 5 times chance to win this giveaway. Thank you to all of our subscribers and those who've given bits and are willing to step up to the plate to support First Updates Now so we can keep making great shows for you. So good luck, everybody. We'll do that drawing right after the number 1 seed is released.
Pick Mike.
Pick Mike.
Yeah. Justin's busy rigging the giveaway for Mike tonight. That's why he's nice.
It's Soviet Detroit 225. Pick you.
Yeah, Justin should get in here because apparently you can win when you're still a host, but not on the air, I guess.
Right. You should just log in with Justin's account.
I should have.
Oh man, that could have been the move.
There you go.
Could have been. Too late.
All right, so in the number 5 spot, it is Team 33 from Auburn Hills, Michigan, and Notre Dame Prep School. It's the Killer Bees. With an overall record of 53-15, they were the winners of the Southfield and Windsor-Essex Great Lakes district events. With 2 district event wins under their belt this year, one in FIM and one in Ontario, the Killer Bees entered the Michigan State Championships 2 weekends ago, looking to repeat as Michigan State champs. They would rank 4th and would captain the 3rd alliance and would exit in the quarterfinals against the number 6 alliance. The Bees float like a butterfly and sting like a bee with their swerve drive that easily maneuvers the field and their double 4-bar mechanism that delivers cubes high to the scale. They can solo climb in the end as well, and the Killer Bees know how to win and take this quarterfinal outing as fuel to excel deep in the daily division. Congrats and good luck. I will say 33 is always one of, to me at least, one of the teams that I'm always most afraid to go up against.
Right.
They, no matter what they're doing, I don't know. Zondag just always has a plan for everything, you know?
Yeah.
I think some teams might say that 33 is ranked too high at number 5 because they've had some issues during the season. I actually think this is a pretty good spot for them. Maybe like between 5 and 8 or something like that. But 33, I think their robot is actually pretty darn good. And maybe they had some unfortunate circumstances come up with some blown electronics and that sort of thing. I actually do think 33 is a top tier team, and I do see them performing very well at championships.
Yeah, 33 is one of my favorite teams to visit at championship. A lot of that is because of Jim. Just catching up with him, and he's an awesome guy. But their students are great. I love talking to them, and love just checking out this robot that we watch on video all year, and year in year out they just have some excellent engineered robots, and really excited to see them again this year.
Yeah. All right, and in the number 4 spot, another Michigan team from Kalamazoo, Michigan. It is Team 2767 Strike Force. With an overall record of 50-4-0, last year's North World Championship and Festival Championship winners, they showed that they are no flash in the pan. So bringing the best driven swerve drive back into the game in 2018 has allowed Strike Force to dominate their matches. Coupling that with an extremely effective forklift buddy climber has propelled them to number 1 at all 3 events that they've attended so far, including the Dow division at the Michigan State Championship. Knowing 2767, we don't expect them to rest on their laurels and expect them to see improved autonomous modes from them, making them even more intimidating to those who will take the opposing side of the glass against them. With 3 Blue Banners going into Detroit, including the Michigan State Championship divisional win, 2767 will be one of the overall favorites in Detroit and looking to repeat as world championships out of the daily division.
Yeah, Strike Force is an elite team, and their performance last year is translated into this year. And I truly I mean, it's something I knew just meeting them that they were just going to continue being an elite team, and it's awesome to see them just completely just dominate the field the way that they do. And I can't wait to see them in action. So before we get into number 3 real quick, I want to mention something because I just looked this up, a little tidbit. The difference was separated out of the 545 votes. I think it was separated by 3 votes. Wow. With the way our point system breaks down. So this is one of the closest we've had between a 3 and a 2. The number 1 had a bit more of a lead, but this is one of the closest I've seen. So let's find out who our top 3 are.
All right. So the 3rd spot is going to go to Team 195 from Southington, Connecticut, and Southington High School. It's the Cyber Knights. They have an overall record of 51-3. And they were the winners at the New England District Championship event. So taking home 2 district wins this season, those being at the Southern Connecticut and the Hartford. They competed in the New England District Championship 2 weekends ago. Since its conception in 2014, the Cyber Knights have made it to the finals every year, including this year, have won New England District Championship 4 years in a row. So it's just unbelievable and just dominant performance there. So 195 is just dominant. They have a 3-cube near or far side scale auto, wastes no time acquiring cubes, and they don't chase those cubes around the field at all. They can score over the top and off the back of the robot. And they have a ramp there for the 2 ranking points at the end of the match. I just absolutely love this robot, and we'll definitely be following them closely there on the Curie division, and it's going to be good for real.
Yeah.
So congrats to 195, just dominating the New England District Championship up there. I don't know if you have anything to add, Christine, but just unbelievable season for them.
Yeah, they were miles ahead of everybody ranking wise. They were just unbelievable, super consistent. You can tell that, the practice field that they have, they're making good use of it because their drivers are just well prepared. So I think they're going to do obviously really well in their division this weekend. So
yeah, man, just, I didn't realize that until I was doing some research about how many they've won over the past few years. So
it's insane.
I think 195. I mentioned that 2, 3, and 2 are very close. I would put 195 very close to the team that is going to be number 1 because I think those 2 teams are the best going to Detroit. So it'll be I don't think anybody's doubting 195 is an elite team. It'll be interesting to see. really how elite they turn up and who potentially is going to be their alliance partner. Because somebody mentioned in chat that they could walk away with the 4.0 RP, and I think that's entirely possible.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially the Curie division. They might be the only top tier team in that division, guys. I mean, there's a lot of good like tier 2 teams in that division, but as top tier, I don't know if there's any others that are even close to 195 and Curie.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed.
Yep.
All the drama's in the 2 spot, Christine.
Yeah,
Not
bring
really,
drama.
Not as much this time.
I was gonna say everybody's probably got it. So.
All right, so in the number 2 spot, we have the legendary 1114 from St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada, and Governor Simcoe High School, or secondary school, sorry. It's Symbotics. With an overall record of 44-10, they were the winners of the Ryerson University District event. Symbotics have a roller coaster of a season so far. They started with an early win at Ryerson and then exited in the semifinals at the Windsor event. At the first Ontario Provincial Championship in the technology division, they would seed 3rd and be selected 1st overall. Some problems plagued them in the finals and would take home the silver from that division. 1114 is a great robot, and I believe that the best is yet to come for them. They will be on the Archimedes division this weekend, and I can't wait to see how far they go. Love their robots, love their team, always inspiring on and off the field, and they always bring their A game at champs, no matter, what their previous events had looked like. So congratulations to them so far, and good luck this weekend.
Yeah, 1114 is a great team, and obviously some unfortunate circumstances with her elevator falling off on the robot. And even before they had a little bit of inconsistency issues. So do I think they're going to have a really good shot being the Einstein? Absolutely. Second best robot, in my opinion, personally not. They kind of like 33 to me, right? They're the 33 of Ontario this year, where they have a really good robot. They're going to perform very well, but they haven't performed to their top potential yet. And it will come at championships, in my opinion.
Yeah, always do. It's what we kind of mentioned about 125 too, and all these teams, right? They just thrive in that environment. So, congrats to them. And then, with no further ado, our number 1 ranked team is going to be 2056 from Stony Creek, Ontario, Canada, and Orchard Park Secondary School. It's OP Robotics, an overall record of 53-3, and they were the winners of the Ontario District Championship event, or the Provincial Championship, excuse me. So OP makes their return to the number 1 spot here on the final regular season top 25. I can't remember, Tyler. I think Justin might know too. The last time they were, I think, was a couple.
I remember handing them the number 2 quite a couple years in a row. So I think it was before you guys joined Fun.
I think it was, it was at least 2, maybe 3 years since they've been here.
Yep.
So they were finalists at Waterloo, and they got the double gold Kling Bling at McMaster. They were the winners in perfect 18-0 of the science division at the first Ontario Provincial Championship, and they were the winners of that championship in 2 matches. They're so quick to the scale and autonomous, can do 3 cubes, and their buddy climb is easy for an alliance partner. Hasn't seen anyone struggle there. One of my favorite parts of the robot is just their articulated grabber. They can they suck it in, and then if the pile's getting a little precarious, they can just then drop it instead of spitting it out. I think that's huge when those piles are getting pretty big and pretty full. So there's just not much left you can say about OP Robotics at this point. It's been nice to see them getting into for a while. It's just robots. Only for the most part, but seeing them kind of take these Chairman's Awards the past couple of seasons has been really great to see.
I was just about to say that, Mike. Absolutely.
Yeah. We really see that from, these teams are, these great teams excel in both. It's hard to do one without the other. So, they'll be in Tesla, and just going to be insane to be, First Champs Live will be in Tesla a lot.
Yeah, I think so.
On their stream. So.
I think
congratulations to them on the number 1. So
Mike, we get to give them a number 1 sticker finally.
Usually been
I'm sure they're going to be really enthused. So.
It's usually been some hostage negotiation kind of. We just drop it off and leave. We don't
try to
make eye contact.
Just get a stare from Tyler as we go by.
Here you go. Okay, good luck. Good job. Bye.
Right.
So.
All right, let's go ahead and do the drawing. Congratulations to all top 25 teams. Don't forget, Mike and I will be in the pits on Thursday and on the fields handing you guys your stickers. So we'd love to have you put them on your robot, preferably not on the back of a freshman or anything like that. But yeah, we'd love to have put on the robot to take a picture with you guys. If you really don't want to, we're not going to be offended. Please don't worry about that. But we'd be honored for you guys to be proud that the community thinks so highly of you on your poll or in our poll. So congratulations to those teams as well. So with that said, pick 225 is your last chance to get the drawing. If you type pick Mike, you're going to get a negative drawing. And I can't really do that. I'm sorry. I can't do it, Mike. Don't worry. So let's go ahead and do the roll for that. And our winner for the 225 hat is going to be Pireads, Pireads, a subscriber since last year. Thank you very much for subscribing. You got that 5x bear chance, and now you have won the giveaway. And now we're going to get a bunch of rigged emotes in chat. Clearly, it was rigged against Mike, and he couldn't win. I didn't just let you, Mike. I'm not doing it just because I want to see you win.
I had to resubscribe.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's why you couldn't win, because I wasn't a subscriber.
Well, you can win. You just
come on.
Instead of 5.
I didn't even realize. See,
yeah, but
this whole Discord Twitch thing is.
That'll happen.
Oh, so speaking of stickers and putting things on your robots, Rev Robotics and 125 will be handing out the Mark Leone stickers that 254, Space Cookies, and 971 were handing out at the Houston Championship. So they're asking that if you would be kind enough to pick one up and put one on your robot in honor of Mark. So
they were on every robot I saw at Houston. It was absolutely breathtaking to see and so cool. And there was posters up too for it. Sorry.
How about Dave Lavery dyeing his hair blue too?
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah,
that was my favorite part.
I actually didn't recognize him at first.
I think I looked away or because it was taking forever for anything to happen.
Yeah.
I think I looked away and I looked back and it was in the middle of his speech and I was like, what? It was so great. It was awesome. So sweet. So we'll be handing out those stickers this week on Thursday and Friday. Hopefully all on Thursday.
I think all on Thursday.
Yeah. So and as always, we said this last week. Please come up to say hi to us. Any one of the hosts that you see, Justin, Christine, myself, Tyler, Nick. Oh, Nick won't be there, right? I don't think.
No, he won't.
And any of our hosts on any of our other outlets. Kind of the thing, Justin and I, and we said it last week that we say every year is, please come up and say hi. You guys know what we look like, but we don't know what you look like. For some of you, those that we haven't met before. So please reach out, say hi. We'd love to talk to you kind of about your robot and your season and everything. So please reach out to us and just let us know what you think about the show, what we could do differently, and what we can do better to serve you, because you guys are the ones listening, and we want to continue to make our content great for you guys.
Absolutely. And Mike hit on the head. It's our goal to build a community, right? And we want you to be part of that community and want you to be proud of being part of the community. And we're so happy with how much we've grown. With that said, anything to leave before we wrap up, guys?
I'm so excited to be back. For a while, it was I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make a championship at all this year. So I'm excited to be going. Excited to check out some great matches.
We're gonna have a great time there. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you to everybody who's watched. If you are interested in more of this, do a couple things. Drop us a couple bucks if you don't mind. We'd appreciate it. Make sure you follow our channel. But most importantly, tell people about this. Go to Champs and seriously start telling them. You see Woody, you see Frank, you see Don, you see anybody else that works for First HQ. You tell them that you're a fan of First Updates Now. You like our content, and they need to be paying more attention to us. That's your homework. There, and I hope they're watching as well too. But seriously, you guys, thank you everybody. We hope you value our work, and word of mouth is free. Subscribing through Twitch Prime is free. But if you can't do that stuff, just keep talking about us. That's how we keep growing. And that's how we keep influence, and that's how we stay independent. So we can give you a voice, we can give ourselves a voice, and we can't be shut down by the bureaucratic society that is a nonprofit organization. So, on behalf of myself, Mike, Justin, and Christine, our producer behind the scenes, Nick, I want to thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for being part of our lives, and thank you for allowing us to be part of yours. Hope to see you at the Detroit Championship. Good luck to all teams. With that said, show next Tuesday, recapping the final FRC Top 25 and championships. We'll talk to you then on First Updates Now.
Take care, guys.